We're all set. Thanks, Lily said to the motel staffer, closing the door before the woman could get a full look inside. She didn't chase after Isabella. Instead, she walked to the bed and looked down at Ethan, still unconscious. Gently, her fingers worked at the restraints binding his wrists until they came free. She smoothed out his rumpled clothes, her movements soft and deliberate, then her eyes fixed on his neck. The smear of lipstick, stark against the angry red marks and faint traces of blood, made her breath catch. She pulled a tissue from her purse and began to wipe at the stain. "It's okay," she whispered to herself, her voice trembling. "It'll be clean in a second. It's okay." But even after the lipstick was gone, she kept wiping, her movements growing more frantic, as if she could still see Isabella's ghost lingering on his skin. She scrubbed until Ethan's neck was raw and red, a new stain replacing the old one. Only then did she stop. Lily's hands moved over the rest of his body, a desperate, searching inventory. After a moment, a shuddering sigh of relief escaped her lips. Besides the marks on his neck and the needle pricks on his arm, he was untouched. Most importantly, he was safe. She lay down beside him, curling her body around his, pulling him into a tight embrace. "Ethan, do you have any idea how worried I was?" she murmured into his hair. "I was so scared I'd be too late. So scared you'd just disappear and leave me. No, I have to make you a part of me, so you can never leave." Her voice dropped, thick with a raw, consuming emotion. For a long while, the only sound in the room was their breathing. Ethan was dreaming. In the dream, Isabella had him chained in a basement, tormenting him endlessly. "No, please don't." He shot awake, his eyes wide with terror, his heart hammering against his ribs. He looked around wildly until he saw her, Lily, propped on an elbow, her head resting in his arms, watching him with a soft, knowing smile. "Lily, what are you doing here?" he asked, confused. "Wasn't I? Didn't Isabella kidnap me?" "She ran off," Lily said, her expression hardening at the mention of the name. "But don't worry, Ethan. I won't let her get away with this." The warmth of her body seeping into his was a comforting anchor in his sea of fear. He wrapped his arms around her tightly, burying his face in her shoulder without a word. His body still trembled with the aftershocks of the nightmare. "It's okay, Ethan. I'm here," Lily soothed, stroking his head gently. "I'll always be with you." After a long time, the tremor subsided. Ethan slowly relaxed in her hold. "Lily, where did you find me?" She couldn't very well tell him about the GPS tracker she'd slipped into the lining of his jacket weeks ago. "I asked a guy on the street. He said he saw a girl carrying a guy into this motel." Ethan nodded. "Oh, okay." He snuggled deeper into her embrace. "Lily, can you just hold me for a little longer?" "Of course," she purred, a flicker of something possessive and triumphant in her eyes as she continued to stroke his hair. Maybe I should thank Isabella, she thought. This clingy, dependent Ethan. I think I like him even better this way. All he needs is me. After another moment, Ethan lifted his head. "Lily, let's go. Home." "No." He shook his head, his hand finding hers and squeezing. "I want to watch the sunset with you." "Oh, Ethan," she breathed, her face alight with adoration. "I love you. I love you too." They got ready to leave. As Ethan swung his legs off the bed, his knees buckled. He stumbled, nearly crashing to the floor, but Lily caught him with impossible speed. "Careful," she said, a playful smile on her lips. Ethan nodded, leaning on her for support. It feels like she knew I was going to fall, he thought, a strange sense of déjà vu washing over him. Probably just my imagination. He tried to take a step, his legs feeling like jelly. Why was he so weak? He could barely walk. As he staggered toward the door, bracing himself against the wall, Lily watched his retreating back. She licked her lips, a look of unsated hunger in her eyes. "Ethan tastes so good," she murmured under her breath. "Huh, what's so good?" he asked, turning his head. Lily quickly looped her arm through his. "I was just saying, the sunset is going to be amazing. Come on, let's hurry." On the way to Mount Crestview, Lily clung to Ethan's arm, her grip tight, as if she were terrified he might dematerialize. Lily, we're a little close, don't you think?" The warmth of her body pressed against him was familiar, but being this public about it made him blush. He was also becoming increasingly aware of just how much her possessiveness had grown. Too close. She snuggled in even tighter, rubbing against his arm. "I wish there was no space between us at all. That's the only way I'd feel safe, knowing some other little fox can't snatch you away. No space between us." Is she serious? Ethan's mind reeled for a second, but then the memory of what had just happened flooded back, a cold wave of dread. He had thought that girls like Lily and Isabella, with their unhealthy attachments, could be healed with kindness and love, guided back to normalcy. He never imagined they could snap so violently. If Isabella could turn on him without warning. Could Lily? He risked a glance at her. She was already looking at him, her pale blue eyes as calm as a placid sea. But he knew that beneath that surface, a tidal wave could erupt at any moment. "What is it, Ethan?" she whispered, her eyes narrowing slightly. He decided to test her, to see if all his efforts over the past weeks had made any difference at all. "Lily, have you been happy being with me?" "Happy," she nodded instantly. "As long as I'm with you, I'm always happy." "Ahem. So, could you accept me having a normal conversation with other people?" "Yes." "Nice." A surge of relief washed over him. "My hard work is paying off." She's starting to relax. The next step is... His triumphant thought was cut short by her next words. "As long as they're the same sex." "The same sex? But I've talked to other girls before. Like, Isa." He stopped himself, the name catching in his throat as he remembered. "You know exactly what Isabella did to you, don't you, Ethan?" Lily's voice was dangerously low, her eyes locked on his. "The result is obvious. It proves that you don't need any other women in your life besides me. They're all just waiting for a chance to hurt you. Lily, that was a one-time thing, a freak accident. I won't allow another accident." She snapped, her voice sharp as cracking ice. "I hope you won't think about this anymore, Ethan. Otherwise, I might do something irrational." It was a threat, plain and simple. Ethan stared at her, a profound sense of disbelief washing over him. The healing process he thought was progressing so well had been a complete illusion. In fact, things had gotten worse. The water had finally started to boil, and the frog was just now realizing it was too late to jump out of the pot. "Lily," Ethan began, his voice barely a whisper. "MMM." She was smiling, that same gentle, loving smile. But now he finally understood. Her smile wasn't because he had healed her. It was simply because he was with her. That was all that mattered. "Lily, what would you do if I disappeared?" The smile vanished. Her face became a mask of ice. Her fingernails dug into his arm, sharp points of pain. "You're joking, right, Ethan?" Seeing the look on her face, he finally understood why his predecessor had been so desperate to escape. He had been so naive, thinking her possessiveness was just a simple problem, a wound that a little care and attention could easily heal. Today, he knew he was wrong. It was a deep-seated pathology, a sickness that could drive her to terrifying extremes. Could he really heal someone like that? Sorry," he stammered, forcing a pained smile. "I was just kidding." "Oh, you scare me." Lily's expression softened instantly, and she hugged him tight. "I thought you were going to leave me. Don't ever make jokes like that again, okay?" I won't." "Good. Now let's go. The sun is about to set." When they got back to the campsite, they found Leo King setting up a small portable grill. "Hey, you two are back. Ethan, what took you so long to pick her up?" "Oh, we just ran into a little snag. Nothing major." "Right. Well, you guys relax. I'll get the barbecue going," Leo said, not pressing the issue as he went back to skewering meat. "Oh, by the way, Ethan, have you seen Isabella? She said she was going to the restroom and hasn't been back." "She's in," Lily started to say, but Ethan cut her off with a loud cough. "Ahem. Something probably came up. I think she went home." Ethan scratched his cheek, trying to look casual. "Okay, so it's just us for dinner then. Sound good. We're going to go rest for a bit." Ethan and Lily found a scenic overlook and sat down. Lily leaned against his shoulder, closing her eyes and soaking in the quiet comfort of the moment. The setting sun painted the sky in fiery strokes of red and orange, casting a warm glow on her face that made her shine like a jewel. Ethan watched her mesmerized. "Lily," he said softly, "can you tell me about when you were a kid?" "Why do you want to know, Ethan?" "Just curious." He couldn't exactly say, "I'm trying to find the root cause of your trauma, so I can fix you." "Okay," she said, her voice soft. "If you want to know, I'll tell you everything." She shifted, lying down and resting her head in his lap. Her hand reached up to gently trace the line of his jaw. "For as long as I can remember, I was at the orphanage. The director, she hated me because of my eyes. She said I was a monster." Her voice was flat, devoid of emotion. "She kept me in an iron cage in the backyard, treated me like an animal. And because of her, the other kids stayed away from me, too. Then Big Tony adopted me." Hearing this, Ethan was stunned into silence. How could anyone be so cruel? To condemn a child for something as arbitrary as the color of her eyes. To label something she didn't understand as monstrous. That bastard. Ethan's fists clenched, his jaw tight with rage for what she had endured. "Lily, is that orphanage still there?" She just shook her head, then wrapped her arms around his neck, looking up at him with a blissfully happy expression. "It doesn't matter. It's enough for me that you care, Ethan. No, we can't just let it go. That woman has no right to be a director. Tomorrow, we'll take the day off. You're taking me to her. We don't have to, Ethan. I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. It was the first time he'd ever sounded so forceful. Maybe the root of her personality change is that director, he thought. If I can resolve that, maybe Lily will finally be free. Besides, what kind of man was he if he couldn't even protect his own girlfriend? Okay, Lily whispered. Then she pulled his head down and kissed him, a deep, possessive kiss. This commanding Ethan. I like him too. Sizzle, sizzle. Leo placed the skewers on the grill. A gust of wind blew a plume of white smoke directly into his eyes. Damn it, he coughed. Even the heavens are jealous of my cooking skills. Hello, is Lily Foster here? A sweet voice asked. Leo looked up and saw a girl walking toward them. Hey, you look familiar. Wait a second, I remember you. You're that girl from the sophomore class trip. The girl, Zoe Reed, nodded. You have a really good memory. Huh. Well, Leo grinned, puffing out his chest. So you're looking for Lily? She and Ethan are over there, watching the sunset. He jutted his chin toward the edge of the bluff. Oh, then I won't disturb them. Zoe turned to leave, but Leo stopped her. Hey, wait. Since you're already here, you might as well stay and have a skewer with us. He held out a freshly grilled piece of steak. A skewer? Zoe's eyes lit up as if someone had just offered her a bar of gold. Can I really? Of course. I cooked them to be eaten. Oh, nom. Zoe took the skewer and took a huge bite. MMPH. Show good. Can I have another one? The world of a foodie was a simple, happy place. Absolutely. I'll grill as many as you want, Leo said with a proud grin. Looks like Chef Leo's skills are still legendary. By the way, what's your name? MMPH GLBR GLPH. Zoe mumbled, her mouth full. After a heroic effort, Zoe finally swallowed the mountain of food in her mouth. My name is Zoe Reed. What's yours, big guy? I am the one and only Leo King, the legend of Northridge U sophomore class. Wow, that sounds so cool. You know it. Back in the day, I was the best-looking guy in my year. No one dared to claim second place. Second? Why not first? Ethan, he's just a tiny bit better looking than me, Leo said, making an okay gesture with his fingers. A tragic loss for his ego. Oh, Zoe said, her mouth forming a perfect O. She then pointed at the grill. I think the meat is burning. Crap. Leo whipped around and saw that several skewers were indeed char-black. Seeing him scrambling, Zoe stepped forward. Here, let me help you. Just then, Leo looked up as Zoe bent down. Their heads moved in the same space, stopping just inches apart. Their eyes met, and in the same instant, both of their faces turned bright red. Zoe was the first to look away. Oh, sorry. And no, it's fine. I was just moving too fast, Leo stammered. Zoe, you just sit down? I can handle this. Okay. A youthful, innocent energy began to fill the mountain air. By the time the sun had completely set, Ethan and Lily returned to the camp. Hey, Lily's back. Seeing her, Zoe quickly stuffed 2 more skewers in her cheeks and ran over to meet her. Alai Chiba. Lily deftly sidestepped Zoe's enthusiastic charge and handed her a napkin from her pocket. Wipe your mouth. It's covered in grease. Hee, you're the best, Lily. Looking at the guileless Zoe, Lily didn't feel her usual sense of exclusion. On the contrary, she felt a sliver of gratitude. If it hadn't been for what Zoe had said to her on the bus, today's Ethan might have been. Since everyone's here, let's eat. Leo called them over. All right, Leo, trying to get a head start without us, huh? Ethan teased. Hey, watching you two be all lovey-dovey over there made me hungry. Lily, try this one. It's really good. Thanks. A peaceful, happy atmosphere settled over the campsite. After they finished eating, they all lay back on a large blanket, gazing up at the canopy of stars. Lily was nestled in Ethan's arms, looking up at the sky. She reached a hand up, as if trying to grasp the brightest star. You can't catch it like that, silly, Ethan said with a smile, gently pinching her cheek. Lily shook her head, then turned to stroke his face. Actually, I already have, she whispered. Lily, Ethan, just as they were sinking into the sweetness of the moment, 2 intense stares from the side pierced their bubble. Stare. Dude, a little rude to be showing off like this in front of us single people, don't you think? Leo grumbled. Yeah. Zoe chimed in. The carefully crafted atmosphere evaporated. After a moment of silence, Leo broke it. So, Ethan, what are you thinking of doing after graduation? At this, Lily's ears perked up, and she looked at Ethan expectantly. Me? I'm open, Ethan said after a moment's thought. We're both English majors, so I was thinking of finding a job locally, something writing related. It's easier to stay in Northridge. He then turned to Lily. Have you thought about what you want to do? Lily just shook her head. Wherever you are, Ethan, that's where I'll be. Lily, Ethan, stop. Break it up. Zoe sat up, her cheeks puffed out. You two have to give it a rest. You can't just bully us like this. Huh. Lily looked at the pouting Zoe, a sly smile playing on her lips. She walked over, tilted Zoe's chin up, and whispered in her ear. If you're so jealous, little Zoe, you could always find one for yourself. What? You're just teasing me, Lily, Zoe mumbled, her face turning scarlet. Besides, who would like a girl who eats as much as I do? Who says no one would? Leo blurted out, his neck stiff. Ravno gradusov de gradusov ravno. Zoe stared at Leo in stunned silence. Leo seemed to realize he'd said something strange and immediately started waving his hands frantically. That's not what I meant. I mean, Zoe, you're really cute. Of course there are guys who would like you. At this, Ethan chimed in. So the question is, do you like her? No, I don't. I don't dislike. And you call yourself a player? Ethan laughed. Sounds to me like you're the one getting played. Pfft. Zoe couldn't help but laugh at Leo's awkward expression. She walked over to him, pulled out her phone, and held it out. Excuse me, sir, can I have your number? You. Leo looked like his CPU had just fried, muttering complete gibberish. Ugh, you're hopeless. I give you an opening and you can't even take it, Ethan said, taking Zoe's phone, typing in Leo's number, and handing it back. Here, this guy's a bit shy. You'll have to be patient with him, Zoe. Hee, I will be. Ethan was about to enjoy the show a little longer when a hand suddenly grabbed his arm and pulled him away. Hey, Lily, where are you taking me? He asked, his face flushing as she led him into a secluded grove of trees. You know perfectly well, she purred, nibbling on his earlobe. To finish what we started earlier, the sound of a nearby stream added a musical touch to the silent night. Soon, it was time for everyone to head back. After a brief farewell to Lily, Ethan and Leo boarded the bus back to campus. On the way, Leo, acting as the trip leader, addressed the group. All right, everyone, today was fun, but now it's time to buckle down and focus on finals. Let's all work hard and make it count. Yeah, a chorus of enthusiastic voices replied. Oh, one more thing, Leo added. Our class president, Isabella, won't be in school for a while due to health reasons. The vice president will be taking over her duties for now. Sitting next to Ethan, Leo mused. Strange. Isabella seemed so excited this morning. Life is unpredictable, huh? Ethan quickly changed the subject. Instead of worrying about that, you should be thinking about what Zoe likes so you can ask her out. Oh yeah, good thinking, man. Seeing that Leo was successfully distracted, Ethan let out a long sigh of relief. The thought of Isabella still sent a shiver of fear down his spine. He hoped he would never have to cross paths with her again. Back at their apartment, Ethan went to take a shower. Hearing the water running, Lily went to her room and locked the door. From under her bed, she pulled out a box. Inside were rows of small vials and various tools. She picked up a small bottle filled with a fine pink powder and shook it gently. She was torn. Should she lock Ethan up? There was one Isabella, but there could be thousands more. But if she did that, Ethan would never look at her with the same warmth again. What should she do? After a moment of hesitation, she placed the bottle back in the box. I hope this is the last time. Oh, right, she remembered. Today is the day Ethan puts medicine on my back. I should get ready. When Ethan opened his bedroom door, he saw Lily standing by the bed, lifting her shirt. Lily, what are you doing changing in my room with the door unlocked? He shielded his eyes and tried to shut the door, but she stopped him. It's time for you to apply my medicine, she said matter-of-factly. I was just getting ready. Well, go lie on the bed, then. You can't just stand there like that. I know, she said, turning to flop onto the bed. She muttered under her breath, coward. Hearing that, a spark of playful defiance flared in Ethan. Oh, so you'd rather do this the hard way? He said, walking over and giving her a light rap on the head. Ow, she yelped in mock surprise. Admit you were wrong, Ethan demanded, his face flushed. I wasn't wrong. Thwack. Wrong or not? Not wrong. Thwack. Wrong or. Ethan looked up and saw Lily lying perfectly still on the bed. A strange feeling washed over him. He sensed that if he kept this up, he'd be the one getting devoured. He dropped the playful act and picked up the tube of ointment, gingerly applying it to her back. After a long moment of silence, Lily seemed to come back to herself. She looked over her shoulder at him. Aren't you going to punish me anymore, Ethan? Ahem. On second thought, I don't think you did anything wrong, so we'll just let it go. No, I insist. Please, big brother Ethan, bestow your loving care upon me. Ethan closed his eyes and began chanting under his breath, Serenity now, serenity now. All women are temptations. Lord, give me strength. Lily squinted at him, then suddenly flipped over, pinning him beneath her. She leaned in close, her breath warm against his ear. My, what a devout man you are. Perhaps you could enlighten a humble woman like me. Pressed down by her weight, Ethan was trapped. He raised his hands in surrender. Okay, Lily, you asked for this. He launched a surprise attack, his fingers digging into her sides and tickling her mercilessly. Ha ha! Ethan, stop. Ha ha ha! The ticklish assault robbed her of all her strength. Ethan seized the opportunity, reversing their positions and pinning her down. He quickly finished applying the ointment, then scrambled off the bed and fled the room, leaving a disheveled Lily behind. She sat up, her hair falling over one eye, her breathing heavy from their battle. When Ethan returned from washing his hands, he found her sitting on the edge of the bed, arms crossed, glaring at him. You bad boy, running away in the middle of the fight. My dear girl, if I hadn't run, you would have eaten me alive. That's because you weren't behaving. Suddenly, Lily's expression shifted, her eyes welling up with tears. Ethan, do you not like me? Of course I do. What are you talking about? He immediately went to her, wrapping her in a hug and stroking her hair. Then why won't you? Be with me. We're still young, he said gently. My plan was to wait until we're a little older. I'm a normal guy, Lily. When you tease me, sometimes I can barely control myself. But I want a future with you, a happy life together. It's not about a moment of pleasure. You understand that, don't you? But we're adults now. Hearing this, Lily couldn't hold back any longer. She surged forward, her lips crashing against his in an uncontrolled kiss. Ethan, understanding her desperation, responded with a gentle tenderness of his own. Fearing a repeat of their last near-suffocation incident, he was the one to gently break away. He looked into her eyes. See, Lily, do you understand now? I understand, she whispered, nestling against his chest. She then pointed to a glass on the nightstand. I poured that milk for you, Ethan. You should drink it. Thanks, Lily. Under her watchful gaze, he drank the entire glass. He set it down and looked at her. What are you looking at? You want some too? Lily licked her lips and shook her head. No thanks, Ethan. I already brushed my teeth. Okay, well, I'm gonna go get ready for bed. You'll be okay sleeping on your own tonight, right? He asked, mostly as a formality. No way, she said, pushing him toward the door. Hurry up and get washed up, Ethan. We're running out of time. As Ethan walked to the bathroom, he wondered, running out of time? What does that mean? When he returned, Lily was already asleep in bed. He crept in quietly, tucked the covers around her, and leaned down to plant a soft kiss on her cheek. Good night, Lily. He lay down and picked up his phone, intending to read for a bit, but a powerful wave of drowsiness hit him. Must be because I'm so tired today, he mumbled to himself. After everything that happened, it's no wonder. He set his phone down. Within a few breaths, he was fast asleep. Listening to his even breathing, Lily rolled over. She gently patted his cheek, whispering his name. When there was no response, a slow, triumphant smile spread across her face. She slipped under the covers. Beneath the bed, a small, empty glass vial lay on its side. At the first hint of dawn, Lily opened her eyes. She smacked her lips contentedly and snuggled in Ethan's arms for a few more moments before getting up to make breakfast. From the cabinet, she took out a bag of dates and some dried fungus. Just one more important ingredient, she hummed to herself. She went back to the bedroom and pulled a large bag of goji berries from the box under her bed. This is the main course. She would have happily made him eat them for every meal, but that would be too obvious. I'll make some soup for now. I'm sure Ethan will love it. Humming a little tune, she returned to the kitchen. A short while later, Ethan stirred. He rolled over, his arm reaching out to pull Lily closer, but he found only empty space. His eyes snapped open. Lily, he called out, sitting up. Hey, you're awake, Ethan, her voice called back from the living room. Phew. He let out a breath of relief and swung his legs over the side of the bed. The moment his feet touched the floor, his entire body went limp. Thump! He collapsed in a heap on the ground. Hearing the noise, Lily rushed in and helped him back onto the bed. A flicker of a smile touched her lips before she quickly hid it. Ethan, what's wrong? Don't scare me. Ethan stared down at his legs in horror. Lily, my legs. I can't feel them. Oh, that, she said calmly. I think I must have slept on your legs last night, and they fell asleep. Just rest here for a bit, and the feeling will come back. Is that it? He asked, uncertain. Of course. Breakfast is ready. Just rest up and come out when you're ready. With that, Lily walked out. Note to self, don't overdo it next time, she thought. Ethan's body is still too weak. But this is good, too. It makes him easier to control. After a few minutes, Ethan tried standing again. This time his legs held. Phew, that scared me. He patted his chest, then remembered their plan to visit her old orphanage. He quickly got ready and went to the dining table. Lily, is this soup? He stared at the bowl in front of him, which was so densely packed with red goji berries you could barely see the liquid beneath. Lily clasped her hands together apologetically. I'm sorry, Ethan. I accidentally spilled too many goji berries in today. But I'm sure you can finish it all, right? Looking at her expectant face, Ethan grit his teeth. Of course I can. He picked up the bowl and began to spoon the concoction into his mouth. Gulp, gulp, clank. He set the empty bowl down on the table with a loud thud. See, Lily? I told you I could finish it. My Ethan is the best. Lily stood up, gave him a quick kiss on the cheek, and took his bowl back to the kitchen. Ethan was about to get a glass of water when she returned and placed another full bowl in front of him. This is... He pointed at himself, then at the bowl, speechless. Sorry, Ethan, I made a little too much today. If you can't finish it, that's okay. Her words lit a competitive fire in him. He grabbed the bowl and chugged the entire thing down. Hiccup. He let out a loud burp, panting slightly as he looked at Lily. See? Who said I couldn't finish it? You're amazing, Ethan. Lily's eyes were practically glowing as she stared at him. Tonight is going to be a long night. She reached for the bowl, but Ethan grabbed her hand. Lily, tell me that's the last of it. Of course. I'm just going to wash the dishes, she said with a sweet smile. Good. Ethan sank back into his chair, clutching his bulging stomach. After a short rest, they headed out. On the way, Lily held his hand in a death grip. Feeling her tension, Ethan gently squeezed her palm. Don't be scared, Lily. I'm with you this time. She replied simply, leaning her head against his shoulder. They arrived at a remote, rundown area. A dilapidated building stood alone in a field of weeds, a rusted sign on the gate reading Havenwood Children's Home. Ethan, we're here, Lily said, her face a blank mask. Okay, let's go in. Ethan stroked her head and was about to move forward when a voice stopped them. Hey kid, what are you doing here? Ethan turned and saw Detective Miller, the officer who had helped him before. Detective Miller? What are you doing here? After Big Tony Costello confessed, he told us he bought several children from different homes over the years. I've been following up on it, and we've already arrested the other traffickers. Havenwood was the last place on my list. The detective's eyes fell on Lily, and a look of understanding dawned on his face. Well, since you're here, you might as well come in with me. And young lady, don't you worry. I promise you, we will get you justice. Thank you, Lily said in a small voice. All right, let's go in. Detective Miller pressed the doorbell on the front of the house. After a moment, the door creaked open, but the person who opened it was a small girl. Who are you looking for? The girl asked timidly, peering through the crack in the door. Detective Miller knelt down to her level. Hi there. We're here to see your director. Is she around? The little girl nodded. Grandma Director is here. I'll go get her. She turned and ran back inside. A few moments later, they heard the rhythmic tap of a cane. Lily's heart began to pound faster and faster. Screech. The door opened fully. Yes, an elderly voice called out. A woman who looked to be well over 80 walked towards them. Ethan was about to step forward and confront her, but Lily grabbed his arm. He looked at her, confused, but she just shook her head and whispered, It's not her. Not her. What does that mean? Detective Miller spoke up. Ma'am, good morning. I'm Detective Miller with the Northridge PD. I have a few questions for you, if you have a moment. The old woman's body trembled. Hello, Detective. Did one of my children do something wrong? I apologize on their behalf. She started to bow, but the detective gently stopped her. No, nothing like that, ma'am. I just want to ask you about some things from the past. The director let out a long sigh of relief. Oh, I see. Please come in. I'll tell you anything I know. The three of them followed her inside. They followed the old director into a room where the floorboards groaned under every step and the walls were stained with age. Please excuse the mess, the director said with an embarrassed smile. The house is so old, and we haven't had the chance to replace much. Detective Miller sat on a wooden bench. Why is the home in this condition? Shouldn't you be receiving state funding? The director sighed. We've tried to get our grants, but they keep saying there's some new paperwork, some new procedure, and it just gets delayed and delayed. Most of the money I have goes directly to the children's food and living expenses. Those leeches. Detective Miller slapped his thigh in anger. He scribbled something on a piece of paper and handed it to the director. Ma'am, don't you worry. This is my contact information. I will personally investigate this and make sure you get what you're owed. The director took the paper, her eyes filling with tears. Thank you, Detective. Thank you so much. Ethan and Lily sat on another bench. Ethan leaned in and whispered, Lily, who is this director? Do you know her? Lily shook her head. I don't. That's strange. So where's the old director? Once the director had composed herself, Detective Miller asked, Ma'am, I'm here today to ask you about the previous director of this home. Our investigation suggests she may have been involved in child trafficking, and we need to question her. The old woman looked at him in disbelief. That's impossible. Mrs. Wagner was the kindest person to the children in this home. She would never traffic children. The detective didn't argue. Do you know where we can find this Mrs. Wagner now? I don't care what you say. I'll never believe it. I know how much she loved these children. She would go hungry herself before she'd let a child miss a meal. The director sighed heavily. Come with me. She led them out to a small garden. She stopped and pointed to a simple tombstone in the corner. Mrs. Wagner is in there. She's dead? The detective asked, surprised. Yes. One winter it was brutally cold. Mrs. Wagner made a big pot of stew for the children, then went back to her room to sleep. One of the little ones got scared, sleeping alone, and went to find her. By the time the girl found her, Mrs. Wagner had already frozen to death, curled up in her bed. The director's voice trembled with emotion. You tell me, how could a woman who loved children that much possibly sell them? After that, I was transferred here from another home. Detective Miller pursed his lips. This complicated things. Without a witness, the case was much harder to prove. But he wasn't going to give up. Ma'am, do you have the home's old records? I'd like to take a look. The director looked annoyed, but she reached into her pocket and pulled out a key. She thumped her cane on the ground. If you don't believe me, go look for yourself. The archive from those years are in the attic. Thank you. After thanking her, the detective walked over to Ethan. Kid, you just wait around here for a bit. I'll come find you as soon as I have anything. Ethan nodded. After the detective left, Lily let go of Ethan's hand. Ethan, you go look around. I want to be alone for a minute. Okay, call me if you need anything, Lily. Ethan left her there and began to wander through the orphanage grounds. He wanted to see the place where Lily had lived. Lily stood before the tombstone for a long time. Then, she picked a sprig of baby's breath from the garden and placed it in front of the stone. Just then, the old director walked up behind her. Baby's breath means longing. Are you? Lily smiled and looked at the director. I was one of Mrs. Wagner's children. For some reason, seeing Lily's bright, lovely smile sent a strange chill down the old director's spine. You were one of her children. The director's eyes filled with tears again as she looked at the tombstone. Oh, Mrs. Wagner, after all these years, a child has finally come to see you. I'm sure you must be so happy, wherever you are. Lily let out a soft, humorless laugh. Are you saying I'm the first one? The director nodded. Yes. Besides you, no one else has ever come to visit her. Ungrateful little wolves, the lot of them. You must be very grateful to Mrs. Wagner, child. Oh yes, Lily said, nodding. Incredibly grateful. I should thank you, really. Without you, I never would have met the person I love. And that is all. Ethan wandered until he came to an abandoned yard. Strange, why would such a large area be left to ruin? He walked through the overgrown weeds and saw a large, square object almost completely consumed by them. What's this? Curious, he walked over. Reaching the object, he began to pull away the thick vines and weeds. Underneath, he found a rusted iron cage. Weird, why would there be an iron cage here? Wait a second. He remembered what Lily had said about the old director locking her in a cage. Could this be? A sudden, white-hot rage flared in him. He kicked the cage, sending it toppling over. Damn your superstitious nonsense. You're the old witch who did this to Lily. As if that wasn't enough, he began kicking and stomping on the rusted bars until a pair of arms wrapped around him from behind. That's enough. Ethan, that's enough. Lily buried her face in his back. Lily? What are you doing here? Ethan tossed the mangled cage aside and turned to hug her, resting his chin on her shoulder. Lily, I'm so sorry. Silly. What do you have to be sorry for? Lily cupped his face in her hands, her expression impossibly gentle. Ethan didn't know what to say, but he felt like there was something he was forgetting, a piece of a memory just out of reach. Did you remember something, Ethan? Lily asked, a hopeful look in her eyes. I don't know. I just feel like there's a memory connected to this place. Hearing this, Lily smiled. She walked to a large tree and began digging at the dirt at its base with her bare hands. Lily, what are you doing? Ethan asked, watching her curiously. It looked like she found something. She pulled an object out of the dirt. That's... When Ethan saw what she was holding, a weathered popsicle stick, a scene flashed through his mind. A popsicle. A hot summer day. An iron cage. He clutched his head, staring at Lily in shock. Lily, you're that girl. Lily walked up to him. So you finally remember me, my savior. And then she kissed him. The moment Ethan realized Lily was that little girl, everything clicked into place. It all made sense now. Lily's obsession with the original Ethan stemmed from that one, thoughtless act of kindness that had saved her life. She had interpreted a simple gesture as a profound act of love and warmth. She never knew that the boy who gave her the popsicle hadn't been trying to save her at all. He'd just been a kid acting on a whim. Ethan's mind raced. He had to bury this knowledge deep inside him. Never let her find out. If she ever knew the truth, given her personality, he would likely vanish from the face of the earth. A new question formed in his mind. Was he with Lily just to survive, or did he actually love her? He leaned toward the latter. From the moment he'd woken up in this world, the first person he'd seen was Lily. Her beauty had stunned him, and in everything that had happened since, he had genuinely cared for her, wanted to protect this broken, wounded girl. Maybe it was love, maybe it was sympathy. It didn't matter. If the world won't love her, he thought with sudden clarity, then I will. Maybe that was why he had been brought here in the first place. To love her properly. He leaned into her kiss, responding with a passion that was all his own. After what felt like an eternity, they broke apart, breathing heavily. Lily, her eyes clear, looked at him. Ethan, can I ask you something? Of course, Lily. Anything. Were you sent from heaven to save me? Her blue eyes, usually so clear, were clouded with a deep, murky uncertainty. No. Ethan shook his head, then paused. I didn't save you, Lily. You saved me. She blinked, confused. Why would you say that? Because when I was lost and confused in this world, the only person by my side was you, wasn't it? He said, the words coming from his heart. In this strange new life, Lily was the only constant, the only one who truly anchored him. It wasn't that he had saved her. It was that she had given him a reason to exist. Lily tilted her head, not quite understanding his meaning, but she smiled anyway, a genuine, sweet smile, clasping her hands together. All this time, I guess the one I love really is you, Ethan. Just then his phone rang. He answered it and heard Detective Miller's voice on the other end. Kid, get back here quick. I found a lead. Okay, Detective, I'm on my way. Ethan took a few steps, then turned back to see Lily standing motionless. Lily, he called. She turned to look at the iron cage behind her, a faint, cryptic smile on her lips. She whispered to the empty space, Thank you, Ethan White. And I'm sorry, Ethan White. Then she ran to catch up with him, linking her arm through his. Let's go, Ethan. Okay. He didn't say anything else, but he had the distinct feeling that the girl beside him had changed somehow. If he had to describe it, it was as if a murky pool of water had suddenly become crystal clear. Back in the director's office, Detective Miller was handing a file to the old woman. This is the lead I found. The director took it and looked, her face clouding with anger. What's the problem? It just says a child died of illness that year. Do you have any idea what it's like in a place with no oversight? When a child gets sick, we sometimes can't even afford medicine. The real problem is the corruption of the people in charge. Detective Miller looked at her calmly. Ma'am, please look at the name of the child who died of illness. The name? What's so strange about that? Lily Foster? What does that have to do with anything? At that moment, Lily spoke up. Ma'am, she said softly, I'm Lily Foster. The old director stared at her, her face a mask of disbelief. Child, what did you say? You're Lily Foster. Lily just nodded silently. No, it's impossible. Mrs. Wagner loved children so much. How could she possibly traffic them? Because my eyes are blue, Lily said simply. Hearing this, comprehension dawned on the old director's face. She knew Mrs. Wagner had been a superstitious, rigid woman. To her, a child who looked different from the norm would have been an aberration, an outcast. I see. The director sank weakly into her chair, staring into space. Detective Miller stood up. We have our evidence. Even though the perpetrator is deceased, we will still file a report. Thank you for your cooperation, ma'am. I'll make sure you get a satisfactory answer about the orphanage's funding. If there's nothing else, we'll be on our way. The three of them walked out, leaving the old director sitting alone in her chair, tears streaming down her face. Outside the orphanage, Detective Miller pulled Ethan aside. Kid, can I have a word with you? Ethan patted Lily's head, who was pouting with displeasure. Be good, Lily. I'll be right back. To his surprise, Lily didn't protest. She just nodded meekly. Hurry back, Ethan. As they walked toward the road, the detective's face grew serious. Kid, you remember I told you that Big Tony Costello had a partner who escaped? I remember. Ethan nodded. We haven't found any trace of him. I have two theories. One, he skipped town and is hiding out somewhere else. That's the best case scenario. Two, he's lying low around here, waiting for a chance to get revenge for his friend. That's very dangerous. So you need to protect yourself and your girlfriend. If anything strange happens, anything at all, you call me. Understand? Ethan nodded gravely. I understand. Thank you, Detective Miller. Well, I won't keep you from your date any longer. The detective gave Ethan a knowing wink and left. As soon as he was gone, Lily rushed over. Ethan, what did the detective say? Not wanting her to worry, Ethan decided to tell her the truth. He watched her face, but it remained expressionless as he explained. When he was done, he took her hand. Don't worry, Lily. I'll protect you. Lily gave a distracted nod, her gaze fixed on the distant horizon, her expression grim. No one else will ever interfere with my life with Ethan. On the way back, Lily clung to Ethan's arm. Ethan, can you come with me to see my grandmother? Your grandmother? You mean the owner of the convenience store where you used to work? Lily nodded. Yes. I haven't seen her in a while. I miss her. Okay, let's go. I took the whole day off, anyway. We could take it easy. Dinkling. The bell on the convenience store door chimed. Welcome, what can I get for you? An old woman emerged from behind a tall shelf. Grandma, I'm back. Lily. The old woman's face lit up. She shuffled forward and grabbed Lily's arms, her eyes welling with tears. I'm so sorry, child. I was useless. I'm so sorry. It wasn't your fault, Grandma, Lily said, gently wiping the tears from the old woman's cheeks. Look, I'm fine now, aren't I? The bad men have been arrested, and I'm really happy now. Good, as long as you're happy. Ethan, not wanting to intrude, quietly slipped outside. Staring up at the bright sun, he felt a sense of profound contentment. Now that Lily is free from all that, things are only going to get better. For the first time, he felt a true sense of belonging in this world. Just then, a man in a hooded sweatshirt and a face mask ran past, bumping hard into Ethan's shoulder before ducking into a nearby alley. Ethan rubbed his shoulder. Hey, watch it. The sidewalk's a mile wide. You had to hit me. He was grumbling to himself when he noticed a wallet on the ground. Is this from that guy? Hey, you dropped your wallet. Ethan called out, picking it up and chasing after him. He followed the man into the narrow alleyway, calling out to him, but the man didn't respond. Halfway down the alley, Ethan had to sidestep an illegally parked scooter. Who just leaves their scooter in the middle of an alley? He thought, annoyed. So inconsiderate. What if someone needs to get through? He turned a corner and saw the man, standing with his back to him. Hey man, you dropped your wallet. Ethan took a few steps forward, then stopped, a prickle of unease crawling up his spine. The hooded man turned around. Oh, thank you, kid. Good to know there are still honest people in the world. Could you bring it to me? The man held out his hand. Ethan didn't move forward. Instead, he took a slow step back. Something was wrong. Why hadn't the man responded when he called out so loudly? And why had he run into a dead-end alley? Most importantly, why was he bundled up on such a hot day, as if he were afraid of being recognized? I'll just toss it to you, Ethan said, his voice steady. I gotta go. He threw the wallet toward the man. The man didn't even try to catch it. Instead, his hand disappeared into his sweatshirt and emerged with a knife. In that instant, Ethan knew. Run. Both of them broke into a sprint, a desperate chase through the narrow confines of the alley. Ethan's heart pounded, adrenaline surging through him. The only thought in his head was escape. If he could just make it out of the alley, he'd be safe. But fate had other plans. Just as he neared the alley's entrance, the illegally parked scooter blocked his path, forcing him to slow down. No. The footsteps behind him grew louder, closer. The man lunged, the knife held in a tight grip, plunging straight for Ethan. He's a good boy, Grandma. He treats me very well, Lily was saying, still talking with the old woman about her future. Good. Lily, take this. The old woman reached under the counter and pulled out a small, velvet-lined box. Inside were 2 halves of a silver locket, each engraved with one wing of a bird. This was a gift from my late husband. The day he gave it to me, he held my hand and said, In heaven, we shall be as birds flying wing to wing. On earth, as trees with intertwined branches. Oh, you have no idea. I was so happy I couldn't sleep all night. The old woman's eyes grew misty with the memory. But I never knew he'd be so cruel as to leave me with just this corner store and this locket. I don't ask for much in this life. I just want to take care of this shop for the time I've left, so I have something to show for myself when I see him again. This locket, it should go to you, Lily. She held the box out. Grandma, I can't take this, Lily said, waving her hands. This is a symbol of your love with Grandpa. How could I possibly accept it? Take it. The old woman pressed it firmly into Lily's hands. From the moment he passed, this locket has been incomplete. Why not let it become whole again with you and your young man? Hearing this, Lily closed her hand around the cool metal, her grip tightening. She looked at the old woman. Thank you, Grandma. I'll take very good care of it. The old woman smiled. Now that's what love is all about. Suddenly, Lily's heart gave a violent lurch. A sharp, painful pang, as if something precious was about to be ripped away. She stood up abruptly and looked out the door, but Ethan was nowhere in sight. Lily, what's wrong? The old woman asked. Ethan, Lily screamed his name and ran out of the store. Ethan's hands clamped around the man's wrist, desperately holding the knife at bay. But the man was stronger, and Ethan's own constitution wasn't great. The blade pressed downward, inch by inch, toward his stomach. Schlick! The knife sank into his flesh. Arg! Ethan cried out in agony. It hurts. It hurts so much. Why did I have to be a hero? Please, anyone help me. I don't want to die. There's still so much I want to do. The pain robbed him of his strength. The man pulled the knife out, and a torrent of dark red blood soaked through Ethan's shirt. The man laughed. This is what you get for playing hero. Big Tony, my brother, I've avenged you. In a little while, I'll send that little bitch to see you too. But first, I think I'll collect a little interest. She's a real looker, that one. The man licked his lips with a sickening grin. Hearing his words, an image of Lily flashed in Ethan's mind. No, you can't. Don't hurt. Lily. Ethan reached out, his hand grabbing the man's pant leg. TCH. The man looked down at him with contempt. You can't even save yourself, and you're worried about some woman? Don't worry. I'll take my time with her. Hearing this, Ethan used the last of his strength to bite down hard on the man's leg. Ack, you little bastard, you bit me. The man cried out in pain and kicked Ethan hard in the head with his other foot. After kicking him away, the man snarled, Since you're so eager to die, I'll grant your wish. He raised the knife, aiming for Ethan's heart. Stop! A voice echoed from the mouth of the alley. The attacker spun around, panicked. If a bystander saw this, he was done for. But when he looked, he saw it was just Lily, standing at the entrance to the alley. Her gaze fell on Ethan, lying in a pool of his own blood, and her pupils dilated instantly. Snap! It was as if a string inside her mind had broken. In a heartbeat, she was a different person, her eyes filled with a terrifying, razor-sharp light. You are going to die. Ha-ha! The man laughed. You? A little toy that Big Tony used to beat on whenever he felt like it? What are you going to do to me? I suggest you come over here quietly and make me happy. If you do, I'll make sure you both die quickly. Okay, Lily said, her head bowed as she started walking toward him. Seeing her approach, Ethan managed a weak whisper. Lily, run. The man had let his guard down completely. To him, she was just prey walking into his arms. That's right, come here. I'll take real good care of you. Okay, she cooed. Then please, open your heart to me. The moment she was in front of him, she whipped a fruit knife out from behind her back and plunged it toward his chest. What? The man had no time to react. His body could only make a reflexive jerk to the side. Slash! The knife sliced into his torso, just off-center. Lily pulled the blade out, a sick, ecstatic smile on her face. Oh dear, I missed. Don't worry, I won't miss the next one. The man clutched his bleeding chest, staring at her in shock. Big Tony said this girl was a coward. Her strike was stronger than mine. Damn it, I miscalculated. If I don't get out of here and treat this wound, I'm going to die. He glanced at Ethan on the ground and had an idea. He threw his own knife, aiming for Ethan's chest. In the split second before the blade could find its mark, Lily moved, batting the knife out of the air with her own. The man used that moment of distraction to turn and run. Lily started to chase him, but the overwhelming metallic scent of blood in the air snapped her back to reality. Her eyes cleared. She rushed to Ethan's side and pressed her hands hard against the gushing wound. Ethan, hang on. I'm calling an ambulance. With her free hand, she fumbled for her phone, her fingers trembling as she dialed 911. After giving them their location, she ripped a piece of her own shirt off and wrapped it tightly around his wound. I'm sorry, Ethan. This is all my fault. I never should have left you, she sobbed, her tears mixing with the blood that soaked her white dress. Lily, Lily. Ethan whispered her name. I'm here, Ethan, she cried. Just hold on. The ambulance is almost here. Her tears fell onto his face, momentarily clearing the fog of unconsciousness that was pulling him under. He lifted a weak hand and tried to wipe them away. Don't cry, Lily. You're not as pretty when you cry. She nodded, unable to speak. Lily, I don't want to die, he whispered. I want to live with you, graduate with you, get married, and have kids. But I don't think I can make it. No, she shrieked, her voice raw with hysteria. You're going to be fine, Ethan. You have to be. A powerful wave of darkness washed over him, and his eyes slowly closed. Seeing this, Lily froze. The world around her seemed to dim, the colors fading to gray until the only point of light, Ethan, began to fade to black and white as well. Wee-woo, wee-woo. The sound of sirens grew closer. Over here. We found the patient. The alley's too narrow for the gurney. Get him on a stretcher, and let's move. Paramedics lifted Ethan onto a stretcher and rushed him toward the ambulance. Another medic gently guided the vacant-eyed Lily into the vehicle. Why? Why did this happen? She asked herself over and over. She had been so careful, so protective of him. Why'd he still get hurt? She had even planned to go out and deal with the fugitive herself while Ethan was safe. But he had found them first. Lily felt an invisible barrier rising between them, a wall that seemed to be telling her that they were from two different worlds. She had always known, deep down, from the day she first walked into his apartment, that this wasn't the real Ethan. The original Ethan could never have loved her. The trauma she had inflicted on him couldn't just vanish. She had been using this new, fake Ethan to numb the pain of her past. But as she got to know him, she slowly began to understand what real caring felt like. The moment he had charged into Big Tony's house to save her, her heart had made its choice. She knew the original Ethan had saved her once, but it was just a coincidence, an accident. She had asked him about it countless times, and his answer was always the same: "I don't know what you're talking about. Please stop asking." But in her world, devoid of warmth, she had clung to her fantasy. Then this new Ethan appeared. He was like a light, warming and illuminating her dark world. He became her everything. He had saved her. He had redeemed her. But now, this beautiful dream had been shattered by a brutal reality, a knife telling her that she didn't deserve this happiness. The ambulance arrived at the hospital, and Ethan was rushed into the emergency room. After what felt like a lifetime, a doctor came out. "The patient is very lucky," he told Lily. "The blade didn't hit any major organs. He's unconscious due to blood loss. However, his subconscious seems to be in a deep sleep. I can't say for sure when he'll wake up." Lily thanked the doctor, then went to Ethan's bedside. She looked at him, lying there with an oxygen mask on his face, and fell into a deep, dark contemplation. Is it true? Are we really from different worlds? Images of their time together flashed through her mind. Her deep, dark eyes began to glow with a crimson light. "No, Ethan, if you came to this world, it means we were meant to be one. No matter where you are, I will find you. Nothing can keep us apart, not even the entire world." Ethan woke up. He opened his eyes and found himself sitting at a desk in a university lecture hall. "Did I fall asleep?" He touched his face, then looked down at the OChem textbook on his desk. "Right, I was studying for my final. Then I can't remember anything else." Knock, knock. A banging came from his dorm room door, followed by a loud voice. "Ethan, open up. Your dads are back." Ethan opened the door to find his three roommates. There was Chunk, a Northridge local whose love for food was reflected in his generous physique. He claimed he wasn't fat, just a vessel of great virtue. Then there was Moose, who was from Maine and was the tallest guy in the dorm by a full head, hence the nickname, which he wore with pride. He was friendly and reliable, which is why he was the RA. And finally, there was Romeo, from California, who called every remotely attractive person dude, or brah, and fancied himself a ladies' man. "Ethan, my man." Chunk flopped onto his bed. "You finished the OChem problem set? Hook a brother up." The other two also turned to look at him expectantly. "Not yet," Ethan said with a grimace. "This stuff is impossible. I just woke up." "What?" Romeo exclaimed. "You mean you've been sleeping all afternoon?" "What can I say?" Ethan shrugged. "You can't expect me to carry all of you." Moose came over and clapped him on the shoulder. "Ethan, there's a mixer with the sororities tonight. You in?" At the mention of this, Chunk shot up like he'd been electrocuted. Yeah. I heard there are going to be a ton of hot girls there." "Huh?" Ethan scratched his head. "You guys know I'm not really a party guy. Besides, I haven't even started the OChem. You're not worried about failing." Romeo slung an arm around his neck. "Dude, just think. You go to the party, you meet a girl, sparks fly. You could find the love of your life tonight." Moose gave him a thumbs up. "Exactly. Besides, we're a team. If we fail, we vote together. Share the glory, share the pain." After a relentless campaign of peer pressure, Ethan finally gave in. Later that night, after dinner, they ended up at a karaoke bar. As Ethan was spearing a piece of watermelon with a toothpick, he saw Chunk walking toward him, looking dejected. "Chunk, what's wrong?" Seeing Ethan, Chunk looked like he'd found a sympathetic ear. He plopped down beside him, on the verge of tears. "Ethan, you have no idea. Romeo and Moose are both cuddled up with girls. I'm so jealous. So go find one for yourself. No girl will even look at me. One girl did talk to me, but then she got mad and left." "Tell me what happened." So Chunk recounted the tragic tale. "I was eating the snacks they have here, right? And this cute girl with glasses asks if she can sit next to me. Of course, I said yes. We were talking and laughing, and then she asked if I want to go for a walk outside. There was no way I was agreeing to that. The snacks here are amazing. So I said no. Then she called me a blockhead and just left." "Ethan, what's wrong with me? Is no one ever going to like me?" "Underscore. Chunk, is it possible that when she asked you to go for a walk, she wanted to be alone with you?" Hearing this, Chunk's tears stopped instantly. He looked at Ethan with a glimmer of hope. "Ethan, Are you saying she actually likes me? Ethan nodded. Oh my God. I'm such an idiot. I gotta go find her. Chunk slapped his thigh and shot up to go look for the girl. Ethan watched him go and smiled. Youth is a wonderful thing. Suddenly, his phone buzzed. He pulled it out and saw a video call from his mom. He quickly stepped outside to answer. Hey, Mom. Hi, honey. Where are you? It's so dark. It's nothing, Mom. I'm just out with some friends. Oh, okay. Sweetie, do you need any money? I can send you some. No, Mom, I'm good. I've been working part-time on weekends. I have enough. For some reason, looking at his mother's face made him feel like crying. Okay. But if you need anything, you just tell me, you hear? Mom, I miss you, Ethan said, his eyes turning red. His mom laughed. If you miss me, then come home for a weekend. Your dad and I miss you too. When you come back, I'll make you your favorite meal. Thanks, Mom. Ethan wiped a tear from his eye. What are you crying for? You know I can't stand to see you cry. Okay, I'll let you get back to your friends now. Bye, Mom. After hanging up, Ethan felt like he had forgotten something important, but he couldn't put his finger on it. Whatever. I think I'll go for a walk by the river. He walked along the riverbank, the moonlight shining on his face. Listening to the gentle flow of the water, he felt a profound sense of loneliness. Why? He had just been at a party, just talked to his mom. Why did he still feel so sad? Had he forgotten someone important? Or something? He looked up at the sky and saw one star shining brighter than all the rest. He remembered his grandmother telling him that the brightest star represents someone thinking of you. Who could it be? A father and son were walking by. The little boy was jumping up and down, pointing at the water. Daddy, look at all the lily pads on the water. The father chuckled. That's right, son. The river is full of them. Lily? The name echoed in his mind. Why did it sound so familiar? Hearing it was like an electric shock to his brain. He clutched his head as a flood of memories washed over him. Lily? Lily Foster. Ethan's eyes shot open, and he whispered the name aloud. Lily, I remember everything. He stared up at that single, brilliant star and shouted her name into the night. Lily, where are you? As the last word left his lips, the world around him began to shatter, breaking apart into glittering fragments. A brilliant white light enveloped him. Morning and night, a longing that never ceases. Till our hair is white, a love that never leaves. Gasp! Beep! Ethan's ragged breaths mingled with the steady rhythm of a machine. Lee, oh why? He rasped, his eyes fluttering open. This is a hospital? He looked around the sterile room, the smell of antiseptic sharp in his nostrils. I'm not dead. He tried to sit up, but a searing pain shot through his abdomen. It looked like he wouldn't be moving for a while. But where was Lily? Outside the hospital room door. I'm sorry, Lily. Detective Miller looked at her, his face etched with professional regret. Lily Foster stood by the door, her own expression a cold, unreadable mask. The fugitive, Mickey. He must have a specialized hiding spot. We've checked every camera in a 10-mile radius and found no trace of him. I'm truly sorry about what happened to Ethan. But you have my word. I'll hunt him to the ends of the earth if I have to. It's not your fault, Detective, Lily said, her voice quiet and flat. It was my fault. I didn't protect him. Don't say that, kid. This kind of situation is tough for a seasoned officer, let alone. Thank you for your concern, Detective, Lily interrupted, clearly unwilling to revisit the memory of that day. If there's nothing else, I'm going back inside. Ethan's been unconscious for 2 days. I need to be with him. Right, of course. For a moment, Miller, a man who had seen the worst of humanity, felt a genuine shiver of fear under Lily's gaze. I won't keep you. He turned and walked away. Lily pulled out her phone. A single red dot blinked steadily on a map, pinpointing a location inside a derelict industrial building on the outskirts of Northridge. Tonight, she whispered to herself, you're going to regret everything you've done. She slipped the phone away and re-entered the room. The moment she stepped inside, her heart stopped. Ethan was awake, his eyes open, watching her. Lily's pupils contracted. She rushed to his side. She started to speak, then snapped her mouth shut, a sudden thought freezing her in place. Puzzled by her abrupt change in demeanor, Ethan asked softly, Lily, what's wrong? The sound of his name for her was like a switch being flipped. The tension in her shoulders vanished, replaced by a flood of pure, unadulterated joy. She grabbed his hand, her grip tight. Ethan, you're finally awake. Do you know how worried I was? I was so scared you'd never wake up. Her voice broke, and she buried her face against the bedsheets, her shoulders shaking with sobs. A pang of guilt shot through Ethan. He clumsily raised a hand and stroked her hair. I'm sorry, Lily. I was reckless. You can't leave me ever again, she said, her head snapping up, her eyes red-rimmed and fierce. Not even for a second. Wanting only to soothe her, Ethan answered without thinking. Okay, okay. I won't leave you, Lily. I promise. A flicker of a smile touched her lips, and a satisfied light entered her eyes. You promised, yes, yes, I promised. He didn't notice her micro-expression, too focused on nodding in agreement. Good. Hearing that, Lily finally relented. She leaned against his shoulder, her voice full of complaint. Honestly, Ethan, you're no heavyweight. Why would you go up against a thug with a weapon? I was trying to run, but he caught me. Hey, did they get him? The fugitive? MMM. He's been caught. Lily nodded. Tonight, I'll be the one to catch him. That's good. Just as he said it, his stomach let out a loud, pathetic gurgle. Lily covered her mouth, a stifled giggle escaping. Ahem. Ethan's face flushed, and he turned his head away. Lily, I'm hungry, he mumbled. What was that, Ethan? You're so quiet. Lily can't hear you, she teased, cupping a hand to her ear. I said, I'm hungry, he blurted out, squeezing his eyes shut. Just you wait until I'm better. I'll get you back for this, he thought. A wicked grin spread across Lily's face. Oh, my little baby Ethan is hungry? Don't you worry. Lily will go get her baby some food right now, baby. Ethan blinked, then processed her words, his face flushing with indignation. Who are you calling a baby? You're asking for it, Lily. Hee. My mistake, she chirped, relieved to see he still had his fighting spirit. She leaned in and planted a quick, soft kiss on his cheek, her eyes full of affection. You wait right here, okay? I'll go get you something to eat. Oh, the unexpected kiss deflated all his anger. What could he do? She was just too damn cute. Still, why did he suddenly feel a wave of overwhelming motherly love coming from her? Must be his imagination. The moment Lily left the room, she pulled a small sensor from her pocket, attached it discreetly to the doorframe, and walked away. If anyone entered the room, her phone would vibrate. Staring at the blank white ceiling, Ethan blinked, his mind replaying the moment he'd been stabbed. He could still see Lily's face as he collapsed, the huge tears splashing onto his cheeks, her expression a mask of terror and helplessness. That look in her eyes had pierced him like a needle. She must have been heartbroken. He'd been out for 2 days. She had shouldered so much. That's it, he decided. As soon as I'm healed and finals are over, I'm taking her to the coast. She deserves a break. He closed his eyes to rest. A moment later, he heard the door open. He looked over and saw Lily walking toward him, carrying a bowl of porridge. Who she blew on the steaming bowl as she walked. She placed the bowl on the bedside table. Ethan, the doctor said you can only have light foods for now. Nothing greasy or spicy. Okay. Thanks, Lily, he said, reaching for the bowl. Smack. Lily slapped his hand away. Ethan is a patient. Patients need to rest. Taking care of patients is Lily's job, she declared. She went to the foot of the bed and used the crank to raise his head slightly. It's fine, I can handle eating on my. Before he could finish, a spoonful of porridge was heading straight for his mouth. Open up, Ethan. Ah, she cooed, her eyes practically glowing with a doting light that made him blush furiously. AHM. He shyly took the bite and swallowed, being spoon-fed by a beautiful girl. This is so humiliating. Lily continued to feed him, a blissful look on her face. Then, as if struck by an idea, she took a spoonful of the porridge herself. You haven't eaten either, Lily? Ethan asked. Why don't you let me do it, so you can go eat? She shook her head, then yelped. Ow, this porridge is way too hot. Hot? No way. The temperature feels perfect to me. It is. It burned my tongue, she said, pouting. You can't eat food this hot, Ethan. You'll get esophageal cancer. But it's really not that hot. No. She took a mouthful of porridge and leaned in close to his face. Lily, what are you doing? MMPH. Ethan was completely caught off guard by Lily's sudden assault. She pressed her lips to his, transferring the porridge into his mouth before pulling back to delicately lick a stray grain of rice from her lips. There, not hot anymore. Ethan swallowed, his face crimson. Lily, you can't do that. That's not eating. As if she hadn't heard him, Lily took another spoonful into her mouth. Just one more, she mumbled. Degree. He swallowed again, and she leaned in once more. No, just one more. Again, just one more. Just one more. Ethan stared at the ceiling, a hollowed-out husk of a man, while a completely satisfied Lily patted her stomach. I'm so full, what the hell did you eat? He screamed internally. Lily looked at his swollen lips and stuck her tongue out playfully. I'm going to wash the bowl now, Ethan. With that, she fled the scene. Watching her disappear, Ethan pouted. Is it just me? Or is she getting a lot clingier? After first cleaning the spoon with her tongue, Lily started washing the bowl. BZZZT. BZZZT. Her phone vibrated. In an instant, She dropped the clean bowl into the sink and sprinted back toward the hospital room. The door was already open. When Ethan looked up, he saw Leo King and Zoe Reed. "Ethan, you okay, man? Ethan, are you all right?" They spoke at the same time, then looked at each other and laughed. So you two are just here to rub your relationship in my face? Suddenly, the door creaked open with a sharp, chilling sound. Lily stood in the doorway, her hair shadowing her eyes, one hand held behind her back, clutching something. When she saw it was Leo and Zoe, the tension in her body finally eased. "Oh, Lily, you're back," Zoe said, turning to greet her. "Oh, it's you guys," Lily said, sitting on the edge of Ethan's bed and gesturing to a nearby chair. "Have a seat." "Thanks." Zoe felt a strange sense of caution from Lily, as if she were being watched. "It's probably just my imagination." "You feeling any better, man?" Leo asked, placing a fruit basket on the nightstand. "Only found out what happened last night. I told Mr. Davis this morning, and he gave me a pass to come check on you." A warmth spread through Ethan's chest. It was good to know people cared. "Thanks, man. I'm doing a lot better." "All right." Leo's face broke into a smug grin as he grabbed Zoe's hand. "Zoe and I are together now." "Leo, Lily's right here," Zoe protested, her face turning bright red as she glanced at Lily. Seeing Lily's smiling face, she nodded shyly. "Yes, Leo and I. We're together. Congratulations, you guys." Seeing his best friend happy, Ethan felt a genuine surge of joy for them. Suddenly, Leo burst out laughing. "Ha ha ha. See that, Ethan? I've got a girlfriend now, too. Just you wait, I'm going to be so disgustingly cute in front of you all the time. You'll hate it. Nye nye nye. Are you 5? Ethan just rolled his eyes and said nothing. As evening approached, the couple stayed a little longer before leaving. "Ethan, are you hungry?" Lily asked expectantly the moment they were gone. Not hungry at all," Ethan said quickly, knowing exactly what she was plotting. Gurgle gurgle. His traitorous stomach sang its sad song. "Liar," Lily pouted. "Don't you trust me, Ethan? Why would I ever have any bad intentions toward you?" Okay, I trust you." Seeing her pitiful, doe-eyed expression, Ethan's heart immediately softened. Besides, she had promised. "It should be fine. You're the best, Ethan," Lily chirped, happily running out of the room. When she returned, she was holding another bowl of porridge, this time with several chunks of sweet potato in it. "I was afraid you wouldn't be full, so I bought some steamed sweet potatoes." Look at her. Where else could you find such a thoughtful, caring girlfriend? "Thanks, Lily." Ethan rubbed his hands together, ready to take the bowl, but she pulled it back. "Lily." Her face was flushed. "The porridge is still so hot. I'd better feed you, Ethan." "Lily, didn't you say you wouldn't have any bad intentions?" "I did. I'm not being sneaky about it. I'm being perfectly upfront." Ethan, not 10,000 words omitted here. After feeding Ethan the last mouthful, Lily licked her lips in satisfaction. "Thanks for the meal." By this point, Ethan was lying on the bed, devoid of all desire. If someone had handed him a wooden fish and a monk's robe, he would have renounced all worldly attachments and achieved enlightenment on the spot. "You get some rest, Ethan. I'm going home to grab a few things. It's so late. Maybe you should go tomorrow." Her heart warmed. "I'll take a cab. It'll be quick." "All right, be careful on the road, Lily. Call me if anything happens." "I will." She leaned down, kissed his forehead, and left. Once outside the hospital, Lily glanced at the red dot on her phone's map. Then she pulled a pair of black gloves and a black face mask from her bag. After putting them on, she produced a butterfly knife, flipping it open with a flourish. Like a phantom, she melted into the darkness. Thick clouds swarmed across the sky, swallowing the moonlight, as if deliberately hiding something. "Tooey." A man inside a half-finished building spat on the ground. You could just make out a trace of blood in the phlegm. It was Mickey, Big Tony's friend. "Can't believe that broad was so damn tough," he muttered, lifting his shirt to look at a cut on his chest that was several inches long. Was she playing weak this whole time? Then why didn't she go after Tony sooner? He shook his head. "Forget it. I'm not thinking about it. Soon as this heals, I'm out of this hellhole for good. Tony, old buddy, I've done right by you." Just as he was about to lie down, a small pebble clattered on the floor in front of him. "Who's there?" He scrambled to his feet, gripping a dagger, his eyes darting around warily. "Woof." A dog barked. "It was just an animal. Son of a bitch. It was just you, you mutt." He swore, kicking out of the dog. "Yelp." The dog yelped in pain and scurried away. "Thought it was something serious. Just scaring myself." He chuckled. "Right. Who could find me here anyway? Whatever. Sleep." He was about to lie down when a flash of silver sliced through the air. The man's body jolted. He threw up a hand to block, but a searing pain shot through his palm. "Ack!" He snatched his hand back. A deep gash had been cut across it. Realizing the danger, He gritted his teeth against the pain and reached for the dagger he'd set aside. Just then a swift kick sent the weapon flying, and a foot slammed down on his wrist. "Damn it! Who the hell are you?" he yelled, struggling. But the more he fought, the more his wrist screamed in agony. Before he could say more, another blade plunged deep into his thigh. "AGH!" he howled, looking up at the figure standing over him, a shapeless black shadow. Another cut sliced across his chest. "I asked who you are." "Who are you?" he shrieked, his mind starting to break. "Kill me. If you got the guts, kill me." Lily's blood-red eyes stared down at him, like an emissary from hell itself. The moment he finished speaking, the knife stabbed into his shoulder. "Ack, please, I'm begging you, just kill me." Staring into Lily's eyes, the man's nerves finally shattered. His body and mind were being tortured simultaneously. Finally, from blood loss, he passed out. Lily checked for a pulse at his neck. Still breathing. "Who?" She let out a breath and found a phone in his pocket. Shielding her fingers with her gloves, she dialed the police department. The dog that had been kicked away earlier cautiously padded back. It entered the derelict building, sniffing the air, and began to bark. "Woof, woof." A figure emerged from the shadows. Crimson eyes fixed on the dog as she raised a finger to her lips. She whispered softly, "Someone's sleeping. It's not nice to wake them up, is it?" As if it understood, the dog turned tail and fled. The clouds parted, and moonlight once again illuminated the dark streets. No one would ever know a shadow had been there at all. After packing a bag at home, Lily took a cab back to the hospital. She checked the time, then dialed Ethan's number. "Strange, the line is busy. Who's he talking to?" She hung up and leaned forward. "Driver, can you go a little faster? I can pay extra." The driver's eyes lit up. "Yeah, you got the right guy, miss. Back in my day, on Mount Akina, they called me the king of the gutter run. Hold on tight." He slammed his foot on the accelerator, and the car shot forward like a shooting star. Lying in his hospital bed, Ethan checked the time on his phone. "It's getting late. Why isn't Lily back yet? I'll give her a call." He had just opened his contacts when a call came through first. It was his mother. He answered. "Mom, what's up? It's pretty late." He was cut off by the voice on the other end. "Honey, are you okay? You brat. Something this serious happens, and you don't tell me or your father. We had to hear it from Mr. Davis." "Mom, look, I'm fine." "Fine my ass. Let me stab you and see how fine you feel," his mother Claire exclaimed. "You're my only son. If something happened to you, what would your father and I do?" Her voice broke, and she started to cry. "I'm sorry, Mom." "Oh, for crying out loud, stop crying. Give me the phone." A deep, masculine voice came through. It was his father in this world, Mark White. "Ethan, you know your mother and I are working overseas, and we barely have any time to come back. You have to take care of yourself. I know this is when you need us most, but we really can't get away." "I'm sorry, son." "Dad, but don't you worry, son. I promise your mom, and I will find time to come see you this year. For now, you just focus on getting better. I've already taken care of everything with the hospital financially." "Dad, thank you." "Don't mention it," Mark chuckled. "You know, you've really grown up, Ethan. You sound more confident. That's how a young man should be." Ethan felt a lump in his throat and didn't know how to respond. "By the way, Ethan, do you need me to hire a nurse for you? You probably can't manage on your own." No, it's okay, Dad. Someone's already taking care of me." "Oh, a classmate? Tell me their name. I need to thank them properly." Yes, you have to tell us, Ethan. Mom wants to thank them in person when we get back," Claire chimed in, sniffling. It was clear his parents in this world really loved him. Ethan was silent for a moment, then said, "Mom, Dad, I haven't been a very good son. All these years, you've done nothing but love me." "Silly boy, don't say things like that to your mother. You'll make me feel like a stranger," Claire said, having snatched the phone back. "Hey, honey, why'd you grab the phone?" Mark's wounded voice came from the background. "You be quiet." It seemed his mother was quite the force to be reckoned with. "You listen to me, sweetie. You are Claire White's son. Who am I going to dote on if not you? Your father, and I will always love you." "Mom." Tears welled up in Ethan's eyes, unbidden. "Mom, Dad, I love you." "We love you too, Ethan," they said, almost in unison. Suddenly, BM, the door flew open. Lily stood there, a fruit knife in her hand, a cold smile on her face as she looked at Ethan. "Ethan," she purred, "who are you on the phone with?" Seeing her terrifying appearance, a shiver went down Ethan's spine. "My mom." "Oh, it's just... Wait, what did you say?" Lily's body twitched, and the knife clattered to the floor. "Ethan, was that a girl's voice?" Claire's delighted voice came through the phone. "Is the person taking care of you that girl? What's her name?" Ethan looked at the stunned Lily and smiled. "Ahem. Well, Mom, I'm actually seeing someone. Her name is Lily Foster. She's a student at our university." "Lily Foster? What a beautiful name." "Ethan, Turn on the camera. Let your mother see what she looks like. Claire was so excited she started thumping Mark on the arm. Our boy's all grown up. He finally has a girlfriend. Mark leaned in, his face full of anticipation, eager to see the girl his son liked. Seeing Lily frozen in place, Ethan reached out and gently pulled her next to him, then switched on the video camera. Ethan. Lily ducked her head, her face burning, too shy to look at the screen. Wow, what an adorable girl. Claire's voice chirped from the phone. What's your name, sweetie? Lily kept her head down. Hello, ma'am, she mumbled. My name is Lily Foster. Can I call you Lily then? Lily nodded. Don't be shy, Lily. Lift your head. Let me get a look at you. Ethan gently rubbed her back. It's okay, Lily. I'm right here with you. Hearing that, she jerked her head up, lips pressed together, and looked shyly at the screen. Nung. Oh, you really are beautiful. Look, Mark, isn't she lovely? Claire shoved the phone in front of her husband's face. Mark nodded. Yes, very pretty. Thank you, sir, ma'am. Lily, thank you so much for taking care of our Ethan during this time. It's no problem at all. Oh, the more I look at you, Lily, the more I like you, Claire said, tapping her chin with a satisfied smile. Ethan, you better not bully her, or I'll deal with you when I get back. Bully her? It's a win if she doesn't bully me. Of course, Ethan didn't dare say that out loud. Don't worry, Mom. I'll be good to Lily. He took Lily's hand and pressed a soft kiss to the back of it. Ethan and Lily gazed at him, her eyes shining with such possessive, molten light it was almost tangible. Okay, I won't interrupt you two lovebirds any longer, Claire giggled. From now on, Ethan, you have to video call me every 2 weeks. And Lily has to be there too. Claire was completely smitten. This gentle, considerate girl who was so good to her son. She had to become her daughter-in-law. I will, Mom. Good. That's all for now. Bye-bye, son. Bye-bye, Lily. Bye, Mom, ma'am. Click. The call ended. Mark took the phone, a hurt look on his face. Honey, you just hung up like that? You could have at least let me say one more thing to him. Claire shot him a look. It's late. Let the kids rest. Sigh, all right. Mark sighed. By the way, honey, did you notice Ethan seems different? He used to be so quiet, almost oppressed. But look at him now, he's so much more open and confident. Maybe it's because of that girl, Claire said without a shred of doubt. What? Are you unhappy that your son is doing better? Of course not. Mark decided not to overthink it. He wrapped an arm around Claire. Honey, it's getting dark. Shouldn't we be turning in? Oomph. Claire poked him in the forehead. Not tonight. I have to go online and buy some clothes and jewelry for my future daughter-in-law. With that, she went back to her room. In the hospital room, Ethan pointed to the fruit knife on the floor. So, Lily, what was that about? Lily walked over, picked up the knife, and wiped it clean. I was going to peel an apple for you. Then where's the apple? Lily smiled, placed the knife on the nightstand, then kicked off her shoes and climbed onto his bed. What are you doing? She braced one hand on either side of his head, then reached into her pocket with the other and produced a bright red apple. Here's the apple. Do you believe me now, Ethan? I believe you. I believe you. Ethan held up his hands to fend her off. He just survived the porridge incident. He couldn't handle another round of her antics. Too late. You didn't believe me, Ethan, so now you have to be punished. Her tone shifted. She picked up the fruit knife and waved it in front of his face. Lily, what are you planning to do? She sat on his lap, sliced off a piece of apple, and put it in her own mouth, chewing thoughtfully. No, I, Ethan White, would rather jump out of this window than eat a single bite. MMPH. MMPH. 10,000 words omitted here. Staring at Ethan's vacant, soulless eyes, Lily licked the edge of the knife blade. It's been days since I've had a taste of Ethan. I really want to taste him again. Get better soon, Ethan. She hopped off the bed, put her boots back on, and said, You rest now, Ethan. Lily's gonna go wash the knife. Watching her leave, Ethan grit his teeth and muttered, Just wait till I'm better. I'll get you back for this. Like super pissed. A few minutes later, Lily returned, knife in hand. For some reason, the sight of her holding a blade sent an instinctual fear through him. She put the knife away in a nightstand drawer, then sat in the chair, propping her chin on her hands and staring at him with a goofy grin. What are you thinking about, Lily? You look so happy, he asked curiously. Of course I'm happy. I'm thinking about how you can't move and how I get to have you all to myself. An Ethan that belongs only to Lily is the best kind of Ethan. But of course she wouldn't say that. Your mom approved of me, so of course I'm happy. Speaking of which, Ethan White's parents really do love him, don't they? As she said this, her hand tightened on the bedsheet, her smile never leaving her face. Yeah, they really love me. Ethan's mind was elsewhere, and he didn't catch the subtle shift in how she addressed him. All right, Ethan, get some sleep. Lily stood up and turned off the lights, plunging the room into darkness. but no amount of darkness could hide the crimson glow in her eyes. "Lily, where are you going to sleep?" Ethan tried to find her in the dark, but his eyes hadn't adjusted. Her back was to him. She didn't move. "I'll just sleep here, leaning against your bed." "You should rest, Ethan." The truth was, she'd been sleeping in the bed with him for days, but because he was unconscious, she had barely closed her eyes. "That's no good." Ethan shifted his body and patted the space on the other side of his wound. "You can sleep here with me, if you don't mind." Hearing this, Lily's body trembled. She walked to the side of the bed and climbed in. After a few moments, Ethan's eyes adjusted enough to make out his surroundings. He felt the bed dip, and then a pair of brilliant blue eyes were staring at him. "How could I ever mind, Ethan? Don't ever say something like that again." He swallowed hard. "Okay, good night, Ethan." She leaned in, kissed him, and then wrapped her arms around his. "Good night, Lily." He pulled the blanket up for her and closed his eyes. Perhaps because of his injury, he fell asleep almost instantly. Listening to his steady breathing, Lily watched his profile and reached out to stroke his face. "Ethan," she whispered, "you have to know that in this whole wide world, only Lily truly, truly loves you. Everyone else just loves Ethan White. So from now on, you only need to love Lily and only Lily. Okay? Otherwise, I don't know what kind of foolish things I might do. Good night, my Ethan." The wail of sirens echoed through the quiet streets. The unconscious male has been identified as the fugitive from a few days ago. No fatal injuries, appears to be suffering from severe blood loss. He's been sent to Northridge General for treatment. A uniformed officer saluted Detective Miller and walked away. Miller took the report, then went back to the crime scene, scanning the area for any missed clues. To find this guy when the entire police force couldn't, injure him, and then leave the scene without being caught on a single camera. This person has a high degree of counter-surveillance awareness and is skilled in combat. Only two kinds of people could take down a violent fugitive. One was an even more terrifying killer. The other was someone seeking personal revenge. Which was it? Miller's brow furrowed. His mind suddenly flashed to Ethan's girlfriend, Lily Foster. He immediately shook his head. How could it be her? She was beaten by Big Tony and didn't even have the strength to fight back. Where's my head at? I guess we'll have to wait for the fugitive to wake up and see if we can get anything out of him. Miller sighed and rubbed his temples. Why had things gotten so complicated lately? The first thing Ethan saw when he woke up the next morning was Lily walking in with a bowl of noodles. "You're awake, Ethan." She lifted some noodles with her chopsticks and blew on them. "I just asked the doctor, and he said you can eat some bland, solid food now. I went downstairs and got you some chicken noodle soup. Eat it while it's hot." "Did you eat, Lily?" "I already ate," she said, deliberately avoiding his gaze. "Liar. You're not even looking at me." Fine. You eat first, and Lily will eat the rest." "No, you eat first." Does Ethan want Lily to... Hearing that, Ethan snatched the bowl and began slurping down the noodles. "That's more like it." Lily sat in the chair, chin in her hands, quietly watching him eat. "Okay, I'm full," Ethan said, handing the bowl to her. Lily saw that he hadn't touched any of the chicken chunks in the soup. Her heart melted, but she immediately put on a stern face. "Ethan, why didn't you eat the chicken? You need to build up your strength right now." "I forgot," Ethan said, scratching his head. "Look, I'm full. You eat the meat. Don't let it happen again." "Oh, carrot, all right. Since Ethan had left it for her specifically, she didn't push it back. After they finished, a group of doctors came in for their rounds. An older doctor led the way, followed by several residents. "Feeling any better, young man?" the senior doctor asked Ethan. "Much better. I just feel a little weak. That will come back over time. Let me see the wound." Ethan lifted his shirt. The incision had mostly healed. "Looks good. You should be able to go home to recuperate in a few days. Just no strenuous activity or re-injuring it for a while." Hearing this, Lily's body went rigid, but she quickly forced herself to relax. "We understand, doctor." "Thank you." After the doctors left, Ethan turned to Lily. "Did you hear that, Lily? We can go home soon." "Ethan." Lily looked at him with worried eyes. "I don't think we should rush things. It's better to stay in a hospital and recover for a while longer." "Don't worry, Lily, No," she said, her voice sharp. "Ethan must get completely better in the hospital before we go home. Lily, to have met a girl as wonderful as you, this life has been worth it." He pulled her into a hug, deeply moved. "Meeting you is the luckiest thing that's ever happened to me." He had no idea what kind of plan was brewing in her mind. Lily stroked his face, her eyes filled with a frenzied adoration. "Almost there. Just a little longer, and I can keep Ethan by my side forever. I will never let anyone touch my Ethan again." Time flew by. Soon, it was the day of Ethan's discharge. "Ethan, I've finished the discharge paperwork. Let's go." Lily linked her arm through his, humming a little tune, visibly happy and excited about something. "Let's go." A voice stopped them in their tracks. Standing in their way was Detective Miller. "Detective Miller? What are you doing here?" "Oh, I heard you were getting out today. I came to see you off." Miller pulled out his car keys and pressed the button. Beep beep. A nearby sedan chirped. "Hop in. I still feel bad about what happened. I could have prevented it." "It's really okay, Detective. See? I'm perfectly fine," Ethan said, patting his chest. "I still feel guilty. Let me give you a ride." "Well, in that case, we'd be happy to accept." Ethan took Lily's hand and got into Miller's car. The drive was pleasant, with Miller and Ethan chatting and laughing. Everything seemed normal. "Here we are. Let me drop you at the entrance. I need to run into that corner store for a pack of smokes anyway." When they arrived at the apartment building, Miller took a deep breath and suddenly turned to Lily. "Lily, can I ask you a few questions?" Lily turned, gave Ethan a reassuring look, and stepped in front of the detective. "What would you like to ask me, Detective?" "It was you who took care of the fugitive, wasn't it?" Miller said calmly, looking directly in her eyes. "What are you talking about?" Lily asked, tilting her head. "I checked the hospital's security footage from that day. It shows you leaving at 11 p.m. and returning at 12:30 a.m. An hour and a half is a short time, but it's more than enough to injure someone." Lily's eyes began to dart around, and her voice trembled. "Injure someone? Why would I injure someone? I went home to get some things. You can check the cameras if you don't believe me." "My apologies. I must be overthinking things," Miller said with a smile. He had checked the cameras. Lily had indeed returned to her apartment within a normal time frame. It was just something felt off. "If there's nothing else, I'll be going now." Lily turned and walked away. Miller sighed. It seemed he really had no leads. His only suspect, Lily, had seemed genuinely frightened. And even if it was an act, how could a girl who hadn't even finished college have such a deep-seated cunning? He pulled a cigarette from his pocket, lit it, and walked back to his car. "Looks like I'll have to go back to the hospital and see if I can find any new leads." He had no idea that the girl with her back to him was now smiling, a faint, triumphant curve on her lips. "What did Detective Miller want, Lily? You seem pretty happy," Ethan asked. "Oh, nothing. He was just asking where the corner store was. He wanted to buy some cigarettes." "Oh, well, let's go home." "Okay." The elevator doors slid shut. In the split second before they closed completely, a pathological smile bloomed on Lily's face. Back home, Ethan collapsed onto the sofa, exhausted. Finally home. I can't stand the smell of disinfectant in that hospital." Lily walked over and lifted his shirt. She saw that the wound on his abdomen had fully healed. "Lily, what are you doing?" She nodded slightly to herself, then pulled his shirt back down. "Ethan's wound has healed nicely." Ethan looked at her predatory gaze and shivered. "Why do I get the feeling she's about to eat me?" "All right, Ethan, go take a shower. Lily will make dinner," she said, heading to the kitchen without another glance. Ethan felt a strange vibe in the air, but couldn't put his finger on it. He decided to just go to his room and shower first. SHHHHH. The sound of the shower filled the apartment. Lily, who was making soup, perked up her ears. She crept to the bathroom door and pressed her ear against it. Once she confirmed he was showering, she went to the front door and through the deadbolt. After locking the door, she returned to her bedroom and opened a hidden box under her bed. She pulled out a small bag of white powder and went back to the kitchen. Tearing open the bag, she poured the entire contents into the pot, stirring with a pair of chopsticks to ensure the powder dissolved completely into the bone broth. Then, she sat at the dining table, covering her face and letting out a quiet, muffled giggle. "Heh. The frog is about to be eaten. Sweet Caroline ba-ba-ba." In the bathroom, a completely oblivious Ethan was using a bar of soap as a microphone, belting out a tune, unaware of what awaited him. Click. The bathroom door opened. Ethan walked out, a towel wrapped around his waist. He saw Lily sitting at the dining table, staring straight at him. "Ethan, dinner's ready," she said calmly. "Okay, I'll just get changed and be right there." He turned to go back to his bedroom. "You don't have to bother. The clothes will just have to come off again anyway," Lily murmured to herself, her eyes fixed on his bedroom door. After changing into some loose-fitting clothes, Ethan came to the dining table. "Huh, why are there so many goji berries?" he asked curiously. Lily didn't answer, just looked at him expectantly. He lifted the bowl to his lips, but paused. "Lily, why aren't you drinking any? I already had a bowl while you were in the shower." "I'm still stuffed," she explained. "Oh." Completely unsuspecting, Ethan drank the entire bowl. Hiccup. He let out a burp and took the bowl to the sink. "Just leave it there, Ethan. I'll take care of the rest," Lily said, standing up and silently counting in her head. 1. "It's okay. You've worked so hard lately, Lily. I should do my part." 2. Lily came up behind him and wrapped her arms around his waist. "No need, Ethan. You should just save your energy. For what comes next? 3. What comes next? What do you mean? Before he could finish, a powerful wave of dizziness hit him. Strange, why is my head spinning? His limbs suddenly went weak, and his body went limp, slumping against Lily. Lily, what's happening to me? Why can't I feel my arms or legs? He managed to say, using the last of his strength. Just rest, Ethan. Leave the rest to me. Okay, thanks, Lily. Ethan's eyes slowly closed as he lost consciousness completely. The drug worked perfectly. Lily helped him to the bed, her expression shifting into one of crazed, pathological obsession as she gazed at the unconscious Ethan. We'll be together forever, won't we, Ethan? As long as I keep you at home, you won't get into any more trouble. Just wait for me, Ethan. I'll be right back. NGH. Ethan groggily opened his eyes. Am I in bed? Why do I feel so weak, moi? Moi. That feeling. Wait. Ethan realized Lily was leaning over him, kissing him. Lee MMPH. He tried to speak, but was silenced by her lips. After what felt like an eternity, she finally pulled away, breathing heavily as she rested her head on his chest. Ethan tried to lift his hand, but he had no strength at all. What's going on? How'd I end up like this? Huh. Lily, what are you doing? She avoided his gaze, busying herself by kissing his neck. Ethan knew this look. It was the same one she'd had when she went into her dark mode before. Lily, why are you doing this? Did I do something wrong? Tell me, and I'll fix it. Okay? He asked gently, not wanting to provoke her. But Lily didn't respond. She just narrowed her eyes and started leaving a trail of hickeys on his neck. Can you talk to me, Lily? Please? Just for a little while, he pleaded, craning his neck to plant a chaste kiss on her forehead. She shook her head and sat up, her hands moving toward his clothes. Lily Foster, he shouted her full name. She froze. She hated it when he called her that. It was what the other Ethan had called her. Thinking he'd gotten through to her, he was about to speak again when he saw her look up. Her eyes were a terrifying shade of blue-black. She continued what she was doing. Ethan's eyes widened in disbelief. She's completely walled herself off? But everything was fine before. I didn't do anything to set her off. Lily looked at him, then opened her mouth. 10,000 words omitted here. Lily Foster, that's enough, isn't it? Ethan said, turning his head away, his face blank. The moment he said it, a sharp pain shot through his side. Hiss! He bit back a pain sound. Lily lifted her head, her voice husky and bewitching. That's the second time you called me by my full name. I don't want to hear it from your lips again. Okay, why? At least give me a reason. Only when you're here, by my side, will you be safe from harm. Ethan finally understood. Lily was a girl with deep-seated insecurities. First the incident with Isabella, then him getting stabbed. Was that why she had resorted to such an extreme measure? So she's been planning this ever since I was in the hospital. Ethan tried to explain. Lily, you're overthinking it. It was all just a coincidence. Believe me, from now on, I'll never enough. Lily's pale blue eyes locked onto his. Coincidence. How can there be so many coincidences? There might be a million coincidences, but there's only one Ethan. Even if you hate me for it, I'm still going to do this. An opening. Ethan lifted his legs, hoisting Lily up until they were face to face. Unbalanced, she braced her hands on either side of his head. Lily, look at me. Don't you want to go shopping for clothes with me anymore? Or go camping and look at the stars? At his words, her pale blue eyes flickered. I do. See? That's right. Just be good, Lily, and untie me. I can pretend none of this ever happened. She stared into his eyes. Really? She asked meekly. As real as it gets. She thought for a moment, her hands slowly moving toward the ropes at the head of the bed. Just as her fingers were about to touch them, she stopped. Lily, Ethan prompted. She turned back to him, her eyes now a deep, bottomless black. Did you really think a few simple words would be enough to make me let you go, Ethan? Lily, before he could say more, he saw a syringe press against his arm. What's that? A sedative, of course. Lily pushed the plunger, and the drug flooded his system. A few seconds later, his head grew heavy, and he passed out. See? A quiet Ethan is the most obedient Ethan. She lifted his chin and kissed him deeply. Ethan didn't know how much time had passed when he woke again. From the dim light filtering through the curtains, he could guess it was late at night. He looked around, but didn't see Lily. From the sounds, she was in the living room. He tried to struggle, but his limbs were still useless. There was nothing around him he could use to escape. It seemed Lily was dead set on keeping him here. Oh, you're awake. Ethan. Lily came in, wearing an apron and carrying a bowl of soup. Just in time for dinner. Eat up, Ethan. I made you my special, secret recipe, nutritional soup. Ethan looked at the contents of the bowl and nearly gagged. What is all this stuff? Is this what someone my age should be eating? The bowl was floating with a mountain of goji berries and chunks of unidentifiable meat. This is a special supplement I bought just for you. You have to drink all of it, Ethan, she said, holding a spoonful to his lips. He clamped his mouth shut, refusing to drink. Lily ran her tongue over her lips. Naughty, naughty, Ethan, if you won't drink it willingly, then Lily will just have to help you. And so, she reenacted the porridge scene from the hospital, only this time it wasn't porridge. Clink! The spoon hit the bottom of the bowl. Lily poked his stomach. How are you feeling now, Ethan? What else did you put in there? He demanded. Just a little magic potion in a little while. Ethan will love Lily even more. Sure enough, he could feel a strange heat spreading through his body. The effects are quick, aren't they? Lily wiped the sweat from his forehead and began to make her own preparations. And no, you can't. Ethan saw what she was doing and knew what was coming. He tried to stop her, but the fire inside him was already raging out of control. Lily glanced at him and giggled. Your mouth says no, Ethan, but your body is so honest. Her scent filled his nostrils, shattering the last of his resistance. Time to eat. The main course was finally served. In the end, the frog was devoured, leaving nothing but bones. 100,000 words omitted here. After countless days and nights, Ethan slowly came to. He could feel the soft weight of a body in his arms, but felt no desire. His limbs were leaden. He didn't even want to blink. How long had it been like this? He couldn't remember. What am I going to do? His heavy breathing woke Lily. She stretched and yawned. Good morning, Ethan. Lily, isn't this enough? Her expression changed, a playful glint in her eye. Not enough. Not nearly enough. This life, the next life, the rest of your life, you'll spend it all here with me. It's no use. She wouldn't listen to reason anymore. His only option was to play along, make her lower her guard, and then plan his escape. Thump, thump, thump. Lily padded out of the bedroom barefoot. A moment later, she returned with a glass of milk. Open up, Ethan. She was about to pinch his jaw to force him, but to her surprise, he obediently opened his mouth. Good boy, Ethan. After he finished, she whispered in his ear. Now that you've had your breakfast, it's my turn. Ethan's pupils shrank as he watched her dive under the covers. 10,000 words omitted here. Lily had to go out to buy groceries, leaving Ethan alone in the apartment. The moment he heard the front door click shut, he couldn't hold back any longer. He began to struggle with all his might. Escape. I have to escape. At this rate, he was going to turn into a human raisin. His only chance was to get out and figure out a plan. But besides his head, no part of his body would respond. Huh. Why don't I have any strength? He panted. Suddenly, the phone on the nightstand began to ring. A chance. He watched as the phone, perched on the edge of the table, vibrated closer and closer to his head. Just get to the edge. The phone vibrated one last time and tumbled off, landing near his face. Finally, I can finally escape. He couldn't see who was calling. All he could do was stick out his tongue and tap the answer button. Beep. The call connected. You're telling me you have no idea who attacked you? Detective Miller asked the fugitive, a notepad in his hand. I don't know. The man seemed to have had a complete mental breakdown, shaking his head non-stop. It was like a demon. No, it was a demon. Gender? Height? You must know something. I don't know. Ha ha ha. The fugitive started laughing maniacally on the hospital bed. A moment later, doctors and nurses rushed in and administered a tranquilizer. Looks like he's had a psychotic break, a doctor said, adjusting his glasses. Notify the state psychiatric hospital. We need an evaluation. The nurse nodded and left. Detective Miller left instructions with the officer on duty and hurried out of the hospital, his notepad still completely blank. Help me, Ethan gasped instinctively. Whatever it takes, please, just help me. There was no sound from the other end of the line. Is no one there? Did they hang up? Ethan used his chin to nudge the phone upright so he could see the screen. His blood ran cold. The caller ID read, Lily. How could it be Lily? Did she never leave the apartment? He looked toward the doorway in terror. His pupils shrank. Lily was peeking around the doorframe, only the top half of her head visible, her eyes fixed on him. So, Ethan really did want to run away, she said, slowly walking toward the bed. Her icy gaze made his skin crawl. Lily, it's not that I want to run away. It's just, don't you think this is a little extreme? She didn't seem to hear him, simply repeating a mantra like a broken doll. No, Ethan can't leave Lily. I just need to break Ethan's arms and legs. Then Ethan will be with me forever, right? Without another word, she turned and left the bedroom, ignoring his desperate shouts. Think. I can't let myself become a cripple. How can I distract her? What does she like to do most? His mind was racing. Thump, thump, thump. The sound of footsteps grew louder. Lily walked in, holding a metal pipe. Why do you have so much equipment? Where was all this stuff before? Are you ready, Ethan? She asked, holding up a syringe. I can give you an anesthetic if it hurts. She's so thoughtful I could just cry. Ethan didn't know whether to be touched that she was at least offering anesthetic. You just have to take a little nap, Ethan, and then we can do whatever we want, every day, forever. Wait, a thought struck him. From the very beginning, Lily had been obsessed with his body. What if he acted just as obsessed with hers? How do you defeat a psycho? By being an even bigger psycho, it was worth a shot. Just as Lily pushed the air out of the syringe, Ethan spoke. Lily, can you hug me? Clang. The metal pipe fell to the floor. She stared at him, her face a mask of disbelief. What did you say, Ethan? I said, can you hug me, Lily? Really? A sliver of brilliant blue returned to her deep black eyes. It's working. Really? Or, do you not want to? I want to. She threw the syringe aside and launched herself at him. She lay on his chest, her arms wrapped tightly around him, her lips already finding his neck. Ethan gritted his teeth against the tickling sensation and let her do as she pleased. After a long while, once she had planted several new hickeys, she slowly sat up, her hands braced on his chest. Did you think this would make me forget what I was about to do, Ethan? Damn, it didn't work. But he had one more trick up his sleeve. How can you think that of me, Lily? I was just about to kiss you myself. But since you feel that way, I guess there's no point. He pursed his dry lips, feigning hurt. Kiss. The word seemed to short-circuit her brain. Her head dropped, and she began to tremble. He could faintly hear her muttering, a kiss from Ethan. I almost missed a kiss from Ethan. No, I don't want that. I have to stop her from spiraling. Sensing her slipping into her dark mode, Ethan quickly said, but if you let me explain what just happened, maybe I'll still be in the mood. She lifted her head. The deep black in her eyes was now mixed with a hint of pale blue, as if two sides were at war within her. On one side, an Ethan with his own feelings. On the other, a broken, soulless doll. Ethan, you'll really kiss me? It was clear which side she preferred. Of course. Anywhere. Sure, I guess. Okay. She lay down beside him, their noses almost touching, her eyes locked on his. You can start explaining now, Ethan. I hope your answer is a satisfactory one. Ahem. Too close. His first instinct was to pull back, but seeing the friendly look in her eyes, he thought better of it. Did you really think I didn't know you were the one who called, Lily? To be honest, the moment the phone rang, I knew it was a test. Before she could ask why, he continued, the phone just happened to ring right after you left. And it just happened to be on vibrate. And it just happened to be on a nightstand. Don't you think it was all a little too perfect? He instinctively tried to raise a finger to his temple in a cool gesture, only to remember his hands were tied to the headboard. Then why did you pretend to be calling for help? He had anticipated this question. If I didn't call for help, you would have gone out shopping. If I did, you would come back. He paused, then leaned forward, his lips brushing against hers. And if you came back, wouldn't I get to see you one more time? Ethan, all doubt vanished from her mind. It was true what they said. In love, people lose all reason and judgment. He really does love me. At the same time, she was relieved she had listened to him. Otherwise, things would be very different right now. So, do you understand my explanation now, Lily? I understand. She whispered, her eyes half closed, clearly savoring his words. He did all that just to see me again. I'm so happy. Lily is so happy. Sigh. Ethan then let out a disappointed sigh. Lily immediately perked up. Why are you sighing, Ethan? Did I do something wrong? It has nothing to do with you. I was just thinking that if it weren't for these ropes, I could be holding you and kissing you right now. What a shame. Hearing this, Lily shot upright. She reached in her pocket and pulled out a machete. Why do you have a machete in your pocket? Are you Mary Poppins? Wait, why is she taking out a knife now? Did I overplay my hand? Did she see through my act? Lily raised the machete high and swung it down at Ethan. Clink. Strange. Why don't I feel any pain? Ethan slowly opened his eyes. The ropes that had bound his hands and feet had been cut. I'm finally free. He flexed his wrists and ankles, then glanced over at Lily. She was standing there, clutching the machete, an uncertain look on her face. Can't let my guard down now. One wrong move, and I'll be trapped here for the rest of my life. Ethan turned and threw his arms around her, quickly pecking her on the cheek. See, Lily? I didn't lie to you. She nodded, then closed her eyes and puckered her lips. Here goes nothing. If I'm gonna be a psycho, I might as well go all in. Understanding her silent request, Ethan lunged forward, pressing her down onto the bed and kissing her cherry-red lips. Under his fierce assault, Lily gradually melted. After a long moment, they broke apart. Ethan held the pliant girl in his arms. Do you like it when I'm like this, Lily? I do. The body in his arms squirmed, trying to press even closer. Then you won't tie me up again, will you? He had to nip that idea in the bud before it could grow back. Lily was silent, seemingly weighing the pros and cons. He couldn't let her think. If you hesitate, Lily, you won't get this proactive side of me anymore. No. She grabbed his sleeve. I want proactive Ethan. Then, I promise I won't do it again, Ethan. On one condition. You can't lie to me. She sat up on his lap, staring him down. If you dare to lie to me, I will never let you go. Ethan swallowed hard. Of course I won't lie to you, Lily. So you have to keep your promise, too. Okay. Then can you lie on your stomach for me now? Her face instantly flushed. Please be gentle. Ethan, he gave her a light swat on the rear. Get your mind out of the gutter. It's been days, and you still haven't put medicine on your back. Lie down, I'll go get the ointment. Ah, she let out a little yelp. She was both touched and disappointed. Touched that he still remembered her injuries, but disappointed that he wasn't thinking about that. She got ready and lay on her stomach, waiting for him. A moment later, Ethan returned with the ointment. With a surprisingly steady hand, he began applying it to her back, mentally reciting the alphabet backward to keep himself calm. This time, Lily was exceptionally well behaved, letting him finish without a peep. There, you rest for a bit, Lily. I'm gonna go make dinner. Before she could react, he hurried out of the room. He couldn't let her cook again. If she made another goji berry and rice dish, or some kind of animal part power-up soup, he was gonna die young. He made a few simple dishes. Just as he was taking the last one out of the pan, he felt a bumper car crash into him from behind. Feeling the pressure on his back, he said, Are you rested, Lily? It's about time for dinner. Lily wrapped an arm around his shoulders and rested her head on his back. Ethan, do you hate me? Why would you suddenly ask that, Lily? I did a lot of terrible things to you. Do you hate me for it? As she spoke, she stealthily pulled a syringe out from behind her back. Well, about that, Lily, it was definitely. He thought she was having a moment of self-awareness and was about to comment on it when a thought struck him. Why would she ask this now? When she had me tied up, she didn't care about my opinion at all. This is a game. She's probably already set a trap for me. Definitely my fault. I shouldn't have waited so long to be proactive. He turned, catching a glimpse of the hand she had hidden. Sure enough, I almost fell for it. If I had been more proactive, I could have tasted you sooner, right? So how could I hate you, Lily? I can't wait to do some terrible things to you myself. Ethan Lily looked at him with pure adoration, hid the syringe, and launched herself into his arms. I can't wait any longer, Ethan. Why don't you be terrible to me right now? Ahem. An army marches on its stomach, Lily. You have to at least let me have enough energy to work, right? I understand, she said, then ran to get him a bowl of rice. In the end, a massive bowl of white rice was placed in front of him, while Lily sat across from him, propping her chin on her hand and watching him expectantly. Just how hard does she expect me to work? Don't you want some too, Lily? He tried. Sure. You eat yours, Ethan, and I'll eat mine. Her tone shifted as she began to eat. But by the end, the food on the table was barely touched. So Ethan stood in the shower, letting the water wash over him, feeling completely drained. How am I supposed to win this game? I open with a basic attack, and she flash stuns me with a full combo. I'm dead before I can even use a single ability. For now, at least, he had freedom of movement within the apartment. But he knew that the moment he mentioned going outside, she would go dark again. The plan, then, was to slowly lower her defenses and then find a way to escape and get help. After his shower, he stood with his hand on the bathroom doorknob, hesitating. He was afraid that the moment he opened it, another endless battle would begin. Can my body even handle it? Whatever. If I'm going to be a psycho, I might as well act like one. Ethan grit his teeth and threw open the bathroom door. Let's go. Lily was on the sofa, pretending to play on her phone. The bathroom door flew open, and Ethan, wearing only a towel, strode toward her. Ethan! Lily blinked, confused by his look of grim determination. Before she could react, he scooped her up in a princess carry and stormed toward the bedroom. Slam! The door shut, and the war began. 100,000 words omitted here. In the end, Ethan retreated from the field of battle, utterly defeated. And so, for 2 weeks, Ethan lived in a state of painful bliss, and Lily gradually let down her guard. However, anytime he even hinted at wanting to go outside, she would hold a knife to his throat and say, What was that, Ethan? Lily didn't quite hear you. Perhaps because she still didn't trust him, she added another lock to the front door, and he never saw where she kept the key. Until one day, Ethan woke with a jolt. His arm, which Lily had been using as a pillow, was completely numb. He pinched her soft cheek and was about to pull his arm free when he saw it. Her phone, lying right next to her pillow. Is this a trap? He didn't dare make a reckless move. He couldn't let all his careful planning go to waste. He looked at Lily. She was sleeping soundly, her hands resting on his chest, her breathing even. Screw it. It's now or never. He stretched out his arm and carefully grabbed the phone, keeping one eye on her. No reaction. It seemed safe. He opened the phone and typed in his own birthday. The screen unlocked. He didn't do anything else. He just looked at Lily. She really does love me. And I love her, too. But this is just too extreme. For us to have a good future, I have to change this. I'm sorry, Lily. I'm using your trust against you this time. I'll make it up to you later. After a moment, he opened the phone again. The home screen was clean, the wallpaper a photo of them from their trip to the mall. She was holding his arm, a look of pure happiness on her face. He scrolled through her apps. Besides a few messaging apps and a Match 3 game, everything else was a pre-installed default. Strange, there's nothing here. Is this my only chance, and it's a dead end? Then, on an empty page, he saw it. A memo app. Could it be? He opened it. The memo was locked, with a single security question. Who is my favorite person? This is a freebie. He confidently typed in his own name. Ethan White. Password incorrect. What? He stared at the screen, unable to believe it. Doesn't she like me? He tried again. Still wrong. How could this be? In his confusion, he accidentally hit the backspace key, deleting White. Password correct. What the hell? Ethan White is me, and I am Ethan White. How could the answer be just Ethan? Whatever. No time to think about that now. He pushed the thought aside and kept reading. The memo was filled with all kinds of records. Ethan's eating habits, Ethan's hobbies, Ethan's weaknesses. She knows me better than I know myself. He felt like he was completely transparent, laid bare before her. As he scrolled, he finally found some clues. Bought lots and lots of things at the corner store today. I'm sure Ethan will have a use for them soon, and the owner mentioned that necklace. As long as I give it to Ethan, I'll always know where he is. Hey, Ethan, my Ethan. A necklace. Ethan looked at the chain around his own neck and felt a chill. So that's how she found me when I was with Isabella. He kept scrolling and discovered all sorts of things he never knew, like how she had secretly bought various kinds of potions and drugs. Finally, he found it. Information on the location of the spare door key. A few simple words were written on the screen. Under Ethan's bed. So that's it. That's why she always insisted on going into my bedroom before she left, like she was checking on something. The most dangerous place is the safest place. Now that he knew where the key was, he was about to close the phone when he saw 2 final entries at the bottom. I'm a little curious. I should probably take a look. He opened the first one. It was a single date. Lily's birthday. Her birthday. Wait a minute. Isn't that today? He frowned, trying to remember. She's never celebrated her birthday, but she always got the original Ethan a gift for his. That settles it, he decided. I don't care what happens tomorrow. I'm going out, and I'm buying Lily a birthday present. He no longer cared about escaping. He would get her a gift, even if it meant she'd lock him up again. He just wanted to give her one good birthday. With his mind made up, he looked at the next message. It read, Ethan's origin, the rest was blank. My origin? What does that mean? He was stumped. After a moment, he gave up, put the phone back exactly where he found it, and went back to sleep. The next morning, Lily performed her usual good morning ritual with him. When it was over, she lay lazily in bed, looked at the half-dead Ethan, and giggled. Today's Ethan seems especially motivated. Not that I'm complaining. For all. She kissed him. You worked hard, Ethan. I'll go make you breakfast. Thanks, Lily. After breakfast, Ethan immediately pulled Lily up, declaring he was ready for a second round. Lily herself was puzzled. Why is he so proactive today? Usually, he'd be in his post-battle sage mode by now. But she wasn't one to question a good thing. In fact, she'd be happy to battle with him every second of every day. There's no such thing as overplowed land, only an exhausted ox. After a few more rounds, Lily, full of concern, put a stop to it. She was afraid that if he kept this up, he would actually die young. But to her surprise, Ethan, as if injected with pure adrenaline, didn't appreciate the gesture. He roared that he was ready to fight another 300 rounds. After what felt like an eternity, Lily noticed something and said with disappointment, It seems. Ethan's all used up. Finally, do you have any idea what I've been through this morning? Ethan gently removed his hand from Lily's head, feigning disappointment. Oh well, I guess we'll just have to forget about it then. At his words, Lily's small fists clenched. He had taken the bait. I'm going to buy them right now. No, Lily, I was just kidding. Ethan grabbed her arm, trying to stop her. You're going to work me like a rented mule. She smirked, seeing right through him. Too late. You just stay home and wait for my good news, Ethan. Lily slipped out of bed, dressed, and then bent down as if to put on her socks. In reality, she was quickly checking on the spare key she'd hidden under the bed. Confirming it was still secure, she headed for the door, not forgetting to shoot a final, playful glance over her shoulder. Now you be a good boy and wait for me, she cooed, her voice dripping with flirtatiousness. I promise, by the time I'm done, you won't be able to get out of bed today. The door slammed shut with a bang, followed by the decisive click of a lock. Ethan pressed his ear to the wall, listening intently. Silence. It was time to act. He went back into the bedroom and peered under the bed. Sure enough, there was a key taped discreetly to the wooden frame. As he reached for it, he noticed something else. The back of the key seemed to be pressing down on a small hidden button. A pressure plate? Is it wired to an alarm? A cold dread washed over him. If he'd been just a little less careful, Lily would have already caught him. An idea sparked. He took the silver chain from around his neck. As he carefully peeled the key off the frame, he simultaneously pressed the necklace into its place. Perfect. She won't suspect I've moved, and the alarm won't go off. Holding the key, Ethan felt a surge of excitement. After all these days, he was finally going to see the sun again. He changed into a set of inconspicuous clothes, unlocked the front door, and slipped out. Meanwhile, in a nearby drugstore, a part-time cashier was nodding off behind the counter when the chime on the door rang. She jolted awake, plastering on a customer service smile. "Hi, welcome in." An incredibly beautiful girl with a completely blank expression walked toward her. "Wow, she's gorgeous." The cashier's sleepiness vanished, replaced by wide-eyed admiration. Lily approached the counter, pointed toward a nearby aisle, and whispered, "Excuse me, could you help me get that?" "Of course. Right away, miss, I'll just—" The cashier followed Lily's finger and froze. She was pointing at the condom display. "No way. It's impossible. A girl this cute can't be talking about that." "I know what you mean," the cashier said, grabbing a pack of chewing gum from the counter. "Here, you actually wanted this, right?" "No," Lily said, picking up the correct box. "I want this." The cashier's world crumbled. A girl this beautiful already had a boyfriend. And what's worse, she was the one buying the protection. Still, bound by professional duty, she reluctantly scanned the item, all the while silently cursing the unknown man who had stolen this angel from the world. Achoo! Ethan had just stepped out of the elevator on the first floor when he let out a sudden sneeze. "Who's talking about me?" "That'll be $30, please," the cashier said, forcing a smile so strained that her facial muscles looked like they belonged in a Picasso painting. Lily held up 5 fingers. "I'll take 50 boxes. Monster. That man is an absolute monster." "Achoo! Achoo! Asi cho." Ethan rubbed his nose. "Who is it?" Having no decency. Having been cooped up for so long, the sunlight stung his eyes as he stepped outside. It took a few moments for them to adjust. Okay, plan for the day, he thought, walking down the street. First, get Lily's cake. Then, buy her a present. And tonight, give her the Real surprise. He let out a soft sigh. After today, I probably won't ever get out again. But I don't regret it. I'll just have to keep finding ways to heal her. Have a nice day. The cashier watched Lily leave, then slumped onto her stool with a look of utter despair. Why was the world so cruel? Not only was her job mind-numbingly boring, but now she had to watch this beautiful girl get swept away by some beast. 50 boxes. That was 50 boxes. You could blow up balloons with those for half a day straight. Just as her depression set in, the door chimed again. The cashier flopped back behind the register like a dead fish. "Hello. Welcome in," she mumbled, her face a mask of existential dread. Hi," Ethan said, taken aback by her demeanor. What happened to the professional smile? It's like she's not happy to see me at all. Have I been out of society that long? "What can I get for you?" she asked. "I'd like to buy some balloons." Ethan wanted to decorate the room, create a little atmosphere. Sigh. Hearing the word balloons, the cashier let out a deep breath, muttering under her breath. "Why does it have to be you buying balloons?" "Sorry, what was that?" "Nothing. How many balloons did you need, sir?" "I just need a few." Ethan held up 5 fingers. "Okay, 50, you got it. I'll get them right away." "Not 50. 5. With his phone confiscated by Lily, Ethan had to pay with cash. He left the store and headed for the bakery. Click. Lily unlocked the door. "Ethan, I'm home." The first thing she always did was call his name. On any other day, Ethan would have smiled and welcomed her back. But today, there was only silence. He's probably asleep, she thought, but her quickening pace betrayed her anxiety. She pushed open the bedroom door and froze. Ethan, who should have been lying in bed, was gone. He ran away? No, that's impossible. He's still in a house somewhere. She searched every corner of the apartment, but there was no trace of him. It wasn't until she looked under the bed and saw the necklace, the one she'd given him, pressed against the alarm button, that she knew she'd been played. His plan to escape had been in motion for half a month. Everything before this was just a smokescreen to deceive her. Even today's errand was part of his scheme. Plip! A single tear hit the floor. Heh. A chilling laugh followed. "Oh, Ethan, you're so clever," she said, her voice a low, sinister hum as she lifted her head. A crazed, possessive light filled her blood-red eyes. Just you wait for me, Ethan. This time, I'll make sure you never, ever escape again. She looked like a beautiful doll, shattered from the inside out. Ethan walked into a small bakery. Welcome, a friendly clerk greeted him. Hi, I'd like to order a birthday cake for my girlfriend. Right this way. The clerk led him to the counter and handed him a menu. You can choose the size and design here. After browsing the dozens of options, Ethan's eyes landed on a cake with a starry night theme, featuring a full moon hanging in a deep, dark sky. Lily loves the stars. This is perfect. I'll take this one, he said. He paid and arranged to pick it up in the afternoon, then left the shop. Walking down the street, he started to ponder his next move. The cake was handled, but now he needed a gift. Does Lily even like stuff? In his previous life, he'd never even had a girlfriend, let alone bought one a gift. He racked his brain, but came up empty. Just then, a hand clapped him on the shoulder. Oh no, it can't be. Ethan's pupils constricted. He was about to break into a full sprint when a familiar voice stopped him. Well, fancy seeing you here, son. What you up to? Huh, that's not Lily. Ethan turned to see Detective Miller standing there in his police uniform. Detective Miller, it's you. I thought. You thought what? And nothing. It's probably best not to tell him about Lily. Where's your girlfriend today? Oh, she's resting at home. It's her birthday, and I wanted to get her a surprise gift, but I have no idea what she likes. I'm kind of stuck. Ethan put on a helpless expression, then his eyes lit up. Wait, Detective, do you have any suggestions? So that's it. Miller chuckled, raising his hand to look fondly at the wedding ring on his finger. You come the right guy. My wife and I have been together for years, and I've bought her my fair share of gifts. I've learned a thing or two. Ethan clasped his hands together and bowed his head slightly. Please, master, enlighten me. If you ask me, you should give her something with sentimental value. That way, even when you're not around, she can look at it and think of you. Ethan slammed a fist into his palm. I get it. I'll give Lily a picture of me. That way, she can see me anytime, anywhere. Am I right, Detective? How on earth did this guy land that girl? Ahem. While that's a nice thought, son, don't you think it would be better if you added something to it? Like what? You know, some jewelry, or maybe some new clothes. I get it now. Thanks, Detective. Time's a-wasting. Ethan felt like a new man. He thanked Miller profusely and hurried away. Watching him go, Detective Miller couldn't help but smile. To be in love. Ring, ring. His phone vibrated. The caller ID read, the wife. Hey, honey. What's up? Ooh, honey. What'd you do wrong this time, Miller? You're laying it on thick. Nothing. I was just thinking about you. Yeah, right? You get home so late every night, and you have the nerve to say you miss me. We're out of milk. Remember to pick some up on your way home. That's all, bye. Beep, beep, beep. Miller slowly lowered his phone. Love, it seemed, had soured into a grocery list. His wife hung up, glanced at the wedding photo on the wall, and let out a soft laugh. You big idiot, she whispered. I miss you too. Ethan arrived at the mall and immediately went to a photo booth to take a selfie. Looking at the glossy strip of pictures, he nodded in satisfaction. Perfect. Lily will definitely love this. Since he didn't know what to buy, he bought everything. Flowers, a bracelet, clothes, shoes, and even a set of makeup, though Lily didn't need a drop of it. Carrying a huge shopping bag filled with his heartfelt selections, he nodded again. She's bound to like at least one of these things. Just as he left them all, he saw a girl throw a photo onto the ground in front of a guy. Are you kidding me? She yelled. You take me out on a date and give me a selfie? What am I supposed to do with this? Frame it and use it to scare off birds. She stormed off, leaving the guy standing there in shock. Ethan swallowed hard and shoved the photo deep into his pocket. Okay, maybe no photo for Lily. It's almost time to get the cake anyway. Ring. The school bell sounded. The moment it did, Leo King shot out of his seat and was the first one out the door. He ran to Zoe Reed's classroom and found her already waiting. Hey, Zoe, want to go grab some food? Zoe nodded shyly. Okay, but it's my treat this time. You always pay Leo. It makes me feel bad. You don't have to. Then I'm not going. She turned, pretending to head back to her classroom. Wait. Leo panicked, grabbing her hand. Fine. I won't pay, I promise. Zoe pouted. You said it. Love wasn't a one-way street. It was about supporting each other, enjoying being loved, while also giving love in return. With that settled, Zoe shyly took Leo's hand and, under the kind gazes of her classmates, pulled him away. They ended up at a barbecue joint. As the owner handed them a menu, Zoe had to fight to keep from drooling. Pork belly, beef brisket, beef skewers, grilled mushrooms. 10 of each, please. You got it, the owner said with a grin, taking the menu. Zoe noticed Leo was lost in thought and poked his cheek. Leo? What's wrong? Huh? Oh, sorry, Zoe. What is it? What are you thinking about? I called your name a few times. Sorry, Zoe. I was just wondering when Ethan and the others are coming back to class. It's been a while since I've seen them. Yeah, I haven't seen Lily in ages, either. She told me she was busy taking care of Ethan while he was hurt, Zoe said, chewing on her chopsticks. Man, I really wish I could chat with her. She slumped onto the table dejectedly. Suddenly, an image of Lily appeared before her eyes. Wow, I must really miss her. I'm starting to see her ghost. Ugh. Zoe, Leo said, scooting his chair back with a look of pure terror on his face. I don't think that's a ghost. Zoe lifted her head. Standing there was Lily, her head bowed, her eyes shot with blood-red veins. In one hand, she held a rope. The other was behind her back, clutching something hidden from view. Lily, Zoe exclaimed, about to leap up and hug her, but Leo threw out an arm to stop her. Leo, what are you doing? Zoe pouted, shooting him a glare. Leo leaned in and whispered in her ear. Zoe, trust me, now is not the time to mess with her. Based on my experience, Lily is in a very, very bad mood. As if on cue, Lily's voice, low and chilling, cut through the air. Have either of you seen Ethan recently? The tone sent shivers down Zoe's spine. The warm, breezy day suddenly felt like the dead of winter. She clung to Leo's sleeve, too scared to speak. Leo stepped up. Ethan? No, we haven't seen him. You want me to give him a call? He started to reach for his phone, but Lily cut him off. No need, she said. In that case, I won't disturb your meal. Thank you. With that, she turned and walked out of the restaurant. Watching her go, Leo let out a breath he didn't realize he'd been holding. A wave of concern for Ethan washed over him. Was that a butterfly knife she was holding behind her back? It looked like she was hunting for someone, and I have a pretty good guess who. Leo looked up at the sky and began to pray. Ethan, my friend, I will miss you. It's not that I don't want to help, but the enemy is just too terrifying. Click. The apartment door opened silently. Ethan tiptoed inside. He glanced around and saw no sign of Lily, letting out a quiet sigh of relief. He went in her bedroom and froze. Spread out across the floor were various tools and vials of liquid. So she did go out looking for me, and she came fully armed. I'd better enjoy this last ray of sunshine. He had the gifts he'd bought and started setting the stage. When he was done, he looked at his masterpiece and placed his hands on his hips with pride. All done. Now I just need to wait for Lily to come back. Maybe I should give her a call. He reached for his phone, then remembered it was hidden somewhere he'd never find. Right, no phone. How do I contact her? An idea struck him. The alarm under the bed. I just have to press the button. He went to the bedroom, knelt down, and reached for the button. He hesitated for a second, then gritted his teeth and pressed it. Night was falling. Lily was wandering the streets like a zombie, muttering Ethan's name over and over. Beep, 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 beep. Her phone buzzed. The moment she felt the vibration, she broke into a dead sprint, racing back toward the apartment. Ethan didn't know why, but the moment he pressed the button, his heart felt like it was being squeezed by an invisible hand. His breathing became difficult. The trauma Lily had inflicted on him was far from gone. He went to the front door and stood there, taking deep, steadying breaths. What is waiting for me? 10 minutes later, he faintly heard the elevator ding in the hall. She's here. Ethan ran to the dining table, used a lighter to light the candles on the cake, and returned to the door to wait. Thump, thump. The footsteps grew closer. Ethan's heart was in his throat. Knock, knock. A rap on the door. Ethan squeezed his eyes shut and yanked the handle. The door creaked open. Hi, your food delivery is here. A delivery guy stood in the doorway. I didn't order anything, Ethan said, confused. Huh. The delivery guy glanced at the order slip on the bag, and his eyes widened in realization. Oh man, my bad. Wrong apartment. So sorry about that. After sending the delivery guy away, Ethan closed the door with a sigh. A false alarm. Still, why isn't Lily back yet? Bang, bang, bang. A violent pounding rattled the door. Ethan scowled, pulled the door open, and said impatiently, I already told you. You have the wrong. Standing there was Lily, panting heavily. In one hand she held a rope, in the other, a butterfly knife. She was staring at him with a crazed look, her eyes filled with an endless, bottomless darkness. She's completely snapped. This is bad. If I don't say something fast, Lily, Hap. Before he could finish, Lily lunged, slamming him against the wall. She dropped her tools, and her hands flew to his throat, squeezing. You're not getting away this time, Ethan, she chanted, her voice a deranged whisper. You'll never leave Lily all alone again. Never, never. Cough. He couldn't get any words out. His vision started to blur. Go to sleep, Ethan, she cooed. When you wake up, it will be a whole new life. No, I can't. I can't give up now. Ethan desperately reached out, his hand fumbling along the wall until it found the light switch. This is it, click. The living room was plunged into darkness, but on the dining table, a faint glow appeared, a small dawn. Curiosity piqued, Lily looked toward the light. Her pupils constricted. The inky blackness in her eyes receded, replaced by the clear, serene blue of a mountain stream. Following the light, her gaze fell upon a cake, decorated like a starry sky, sitting on the table. The pressure on his neck lessened. Ethan coughed violently, but instantly composed himself, stepped forward, and kissed her. Seconds later, their lips parted. He looked at her gently, his eyes filled with a deep, unwavering love. "Happy birthday, Lily." She stared at him, dumbfounded, her mouth hanging open, unable to form a single word. "Come on," he said, taking her hand and leading her to the table. "Make a wish." Drip. A tear slid down her cheek and fell to the floor. Then, like a sudden downpour, the tears came flooding out. She buried her head in his chest, her hands clutching his shirt as she sobbed uncontrollably. "I'm sorry, Ethan. I'm so sorry." He stroked the back of her head, pulling her closer. "Lily, it's okay. Everything's going to be okay, right? The world may have pushed me into the abyss 100 times over, but as long as I have you, I can still find a reason to love it." After a while, Lily's sobs subsided into occasional hitches of breath. There, no more crying," Ethan said softly, having already wiped away countless tears. "Today is a day to celebrate. We should be happy." Lily nodded, unable to meet his gaze. "Now, make your wish." Ethan began to sing the birthday song. "Happy birthday to you." Lily stood before the cake, her hands clasped at her chest, her eyes slowly closing like a devout believer praying to her God. Whoosh! She blew out the candles, and the room was plunged into darkness. "Ethan!" Lily's eyes flew open. Seeing he was gone, she called out his name in a panic. Just then, a pair of arms wrapped around her from behind. "I'll always be by your side, Lily." "Ethan!" Lily relaxed, leaning back against him. They held each other for a moment before Ethan flipped on the living room lights. The sight that greeted Lily left her speechless. A few balloons were tied to a chair, floating aimlessly. On the table sat a massive plastic bag, stamped with a mall logo. Ethan's idea of romance is certainly unique. "So, what do you think? Are you surprised?" Ethan beamed, like a child waiting for praise. "Yes, I love it, Ethan," she said. To her, no matter what he did, he would always be the only gentle boy in her eyes. Ethan's grin widened, and he proudly put his hands on his hips. "See, my plan was a success. Maybe I'm just a natural at this. And now, for the most exciting part, the presents." He pulled the items out of the bag one by one, covering the entire table. He scratched his head. "I didn't know what you'd like, so I just bought a little of everything. I hope you don't mind." Lily smiled and shook her head. "I won't. As long as it's from you, Ethan, I'll love anything." "Lily, it was all worth it." Suddenly, Lily tackled him onto the sofa, her eyes burning with an intense love. "I love you, Ethan. I love you too, Lily." As they leaned closer, a photograph slipped from Ethan's pocket. Lily picked it up, her expression curious. "Lily, don't." Ethan reached for it, but she dodged him with a nimble twist of her body. In the photo, Ethan was smiling faintly at the camera, as if offering the most beautiful blessing to the girl in his heart. "Ethan, is this? It's over. It's all over." Ethan buried his face in his hands. "I was going to give you that for your birthday, but then I realized that nobody would want just a plain old picture. So I hid it." Lily gently pulled his hands away from his face, then leaned in and gave him a soft peck on the lips. Tears of happiness welled in her eyes. "Thank you, Ethan. This is the best birthday present I've ever received." "Huh? You don't hate it?" "Of course not. You, Ethan, are the best birthday present in the world." "Wait, me?" Ethan pointed at himself, disbelieving. "You dummy," she whispered, wrapping her arms around his waist and smiling sweetly. "Thank you, Ethan. I'm very satisfied with this birthday gift." A shooting star streaked across the night sky, carrying with it a subtle whisper. The next day, Ethan woke from a deep sleep feeling nothing. His body was completely numb. He looked toward the door, his face a mask of exhaustion, and saw Lily standing there, smiling at him, a kitchen knife in her hand. "Oh, you're awake, Ethan," she chirped, climbing onto the bed and planting a kiss on his cheek. "Breakfast is almost ready. You should get up soon." "Lily, why?" Ethan's eyes were wide, his body trembling. "Why do you feel perfectly fine this morning?" Lily let out a wicked little laugh, then traced a circle on his chest with her index finger. "That's because you're too weak, Ethan. One day, I'll make you beg for mercy." "Oh, I'll be waiting for that day," she purred. She placed the clothes he'd worn last night by his pillow. Get dressed when you can move. I don't want you to catch a cold. She left the bedroom, humming a cheerful tune, knife still in hand. Ethan looked at the clothes beside him, and a small smile played on his lips. Looks like last night's plan was a success. She doesn't seem as crazed as before. If I keep this up, our life together will only get better. After resting for a while, Ethan finally mustered the strength to get up. He used the nightstand for support and shakily stood, ready to get dressed. I will have my revenge. One day. Are you not rested yet, Ethan? At the same time, Lily's head poked back into the bedroom. Their eyes met for a moment. Then Lily's gaze slowly drifted downwards. Ethan, she murmured, her finger in her mouth as she looked at him questioningly. No. Ethan waved his hands, backing away frantically. It'll kill me. It will definitely kill me. Okay then, she said with a pout, turning to leave. Ethan was so relieved he almost burst into tears. She's finally learned some restraint. Suddenly, Lily walked back in, tossing her apron onto the floor with a playful look. You didn't really think I was leaving, did you? I was just turning off the stove. Lily gathered her hair with a hair tie, a strange, knowing smile playing on her lips. Zoe threw her empty juice box into a nearby trash can. Leo, maybe we should skip class after school and go see Lily and Ethan. Leo looked up at the sky, thinking, I'll call Ethan later and see if he's free. He told me yesterday he was celebrating Lily's birthday, which is why she thought he'd run away. A big misunderstanding, though I don't really buy it. What? Zoe squeezed her milk carton so hard the remaining liquid shot out of the straw. It was Lily's birthday yesterday, and she didn't even tell me. That's it, we have to go see her today. Oh, okay. Leo took a wet wipe from his backpack and carefully cleaned the milk off her hand. Lily glanced at Ethan, who was passed out on the bed, and blinked. Looks like I'll have to add an extra bag of goji berries to his soup. Knock, knock, knock. Come in, mister, Davis said, without looking up from the papers he was grading. The door opened, and Leo King walked in, rubbing his hands together. Hey, mister. Davis, I was hoping to get a pass to leave early. Reason? Well, Ethan White's been home recovering for a while, and I wanted to go visit him. You know, bring him the homework he's missed from all the other teachers. Mister. Davis finally looked up, staring directly at Leo. I suppose that's fine, but Leo, have you been keeping out of trouble lately? Leo flinched, a fake smile plastered on his face. Mister. Davis, the day I was born, a fortune teller took one look at me and said, this kid may not have much, but he's got honesty. So how could I possibly be in trouble? Hey, hey, hey. Smack. Mister. Davis slapped the desk. Cut the crap. You think I don't know you've been seeing that girl from class 5? I'm telling you, at this stage, you need to be focused on your studies. He found out. Is this the end for me and Zoe? I understand, Mr. Davis, Leo said, his face falling. Which is why you should find more time to have that girl tutor you. I heard from her homeroom teacher that her grades are pretty good. Mr. Davis smiled. You should ask for her help more often. You hear me? Huh. Leo looked up, stunned. You're not mad. Why would I be mad? As long as it doesn't affect your studies. What you students do is your own business. Mr. Davis's tone then shifted. But you'd better control yourself. Don't do anything foolish. You should learn from Ethan White. He and that girl from class 5 are so innocent. Now that is pure student love. All right, here's your pass. If there's nothing else, get out of here. I have papers to grade. All right. Okay. Leo took the pass and left the office. Wait a second. Where does Ethan live? He pulled out his phone and sent a text. Leo, hey man, where do you live? A reply came back almost instantly. Ethan, why? Leo, Zoe and I are coming to see you tonight. Ethan, got it. I'll send the address in a bit. Leo, okay. Lily dangled Ethan's phone in front of his face, looking with mock disappointment at him hiding under the covers. Leo and Zoe are coming to visit you tonight, Ethan. Really? A smile spread across Ethan's face. Finally, a break. So, I'll need you to take out the trash in a bit. I'm going to the kitchen to start dinner. Lily put on her coat and left the room. Ethan glanced at the black plastic bag filled with used condom wrappers and tied it into a dead knot. If anyone finds this, my life is over. To avoid being recognized, he threw on a hoodie, pulled the hood over his head, and hurried downstairs. As he approached the dumpsters, an old man walked over. Here, Sonny, let me get that for you. And no, it's okay, sir. That's too much trouble. I can do it. Ethan clutched the bag tightly behind his back. The old man saw his reaction and immediately grew suspicious. Why is this kid hiding a garbage bag and looking so nervous? Could he be mixed up in something he shouldn't be? The old man's sense of civic duty flared. He staggered toward Ethan, trying to snatch the bag while lecturing him. Son, You can't get involved with this stuff. It'll ruin your life, your whole family. A lot of people end up in prison for doing things they shouldn't. What? What is this guy talking about? No, I can't let him see what's in this bag, or the whole building will know about my heroic deeds by tomorrow morning. A wave of intense shame washed over Ethan. He tried to fend off the old man's flailing arms, backing away. Sir, you've misunderstood. This bag is just full of trash. Oomph. A young man like you, up to no good. Today, I'm going to teach you a lesson on behalf of your parents. Suddenly, Ethan slipped up. The old man tore a small hole in the bag. The entire atmosphere changed. The visual of dozens of brightly colored, crinkled foil wrappers was unmistakable. Ethan's face turned beet red. He clutched his Pandora's box of a trash bag and fled the scene. The old man's expression shifted from triumph to shock, and finally to a look of world-weary enlightenment. Kids these days, he sighed, looking up at the sky. Ah, youth is wasted on the young. Ethan found another dumpster far away and, seeing no one around, chucked the bag into its deepest corner. Phew! He wiped the sweat from his brow. Finally, that's taken care of. Back in the apartment, he saw Lily by the stove, stirring a pot of soup. A wicked grin spread across his face as he tiptoed toward her. Lily had noticed in the moment he walked in, but she pretended not to, curious to see what her big bad wolf would do. Ethan crept up behind her and launched a surprise attack, tickling her relentlessly. Ah! Ha ha! Ethan! Stop! Not there! Ha ha ha! Lily lost all ability to resist, her body going limp as she collapsed into his arms. After a long session of torture, Lily finally surrendered, her body slick with sweat. The sweet fragrance of her skin filled his nostrils. I'm sorry, Ethan. I was wrong. Wrong about what? Wrong about this. Lily twisted around, pressing herself against him and poking the center of his chest. I can't take it anymore. Who could resist this? Where's my self-control? Where's the line? And where exactly am I supposed to look right now? Fighting against the overwhelming urge, Ethan swept her up into his arms. Lily's eyes twinkled mischievously. She stretched out her leg to turn the stove down to a low simmer, then continued to trace patterns on his chest. Halt, demon! I shall return you to your original form. Smack! He imagined a gavel hitting a table. And with that, Ethan charged into battle, ready for a fight that would take him from the rolling Yangtze to the peaks of Mount Liang. Ring! The final bell rang, and students flooded out of the classrooms. Let's go cafeteria time. Nah, I'm hitting the corner store. Couple rounds of league later. Yeah, log on. Want to go take a dump? We can hold hands. Leo handed his early leave pass to the vice class president and went to wait for Zoe at the school gate. A few moments later, she came bouncing out, her backpack slung over her shoulders. Leo, let's go. You got it. Leo started to reach for her hand, but a sudden chill ran down his spine. He glanced back and saw Mr. Davis staring at him from the second-floor teacher's office window. Leo quickly pulled his hand back. My sixth sense is getting ridiculous, he thought. How can I detect danger from this far away? Was I some kind of failed prototype for Spider-Man? Suddenly, a small, slender hand pinched his waist and twisted hard. Yo! He let out a yelp straight out of a Tom and Jerry cartoon. Leo, what are you spacing out for? Let's go, Zoe urged. Sorry, just lost in thought. Leo rubbed his sore waist and followed her. Okay, definitely not a failed Spider-Man. This must be the place, Leo said, standing in front of the apartment door with Zoe. He knocked gently. Knock, knock, knock. After a moment, a raspy, aged voice came from inside. Coming. An old man's voice? Did I knock on the wrong door? Leo frowned, pulling out his phone to check the address. No, this is what Ethan sent me. Is it his grandfather? Creak. The door slowly opened. Leo bowed his head respectfully. Hello, Grandpa. Zoe suddenly burst out laughing, clutching her stomach. Ha ha. Leo, congratulations. You just got yourself a grandpa your own age. Huh. Leo looked up and saw Ethan standing in front of him. A wave of shame washed over him. Oh, come on, Ethan. What's with the old man act? Are you messing with me? He playfully punched Ethan in the chest. The blow sent Ethan stumbling back, his legs trembling as he struggled to stay upright. Ethan? What's wrong? Leo noticed something was off and rushed to support him, his face filled with sorrow. Is your injury that bad? Look at you. Your face is as white as a sheet. You said you were recovering well. Don't tell me. Leo's eyes went wide, his mouth agape, unable to say the next words as tears welled up. Hearing this, Zoe's eyes also turned red as she sniffled. At that moment, Ethan wanted nothing more than to slap Leo in the next week, but he didn't have the energy. Click. The bedroom door opened, and Lily emerged in a sundress. Lily. Zoe stumbled over and threw her arms around her. Lily patted Zoe's head, confused. "Zoe, why are you crying?" Zoe sobbed. "Is Ethan not long for this world?" Ethan clenched his fists again. "If you have something to say, just say it." Lily glanced at Ethan's pale face and, realizing the situation, stifled a laugh. "Oh, Ethan just has an upset stomach. That's why he looks so drained." "Oh, I see," Zoe and Leo said in unison. Leo gave Ethan an apologetic smile. "Sorry, man. I was just worried about you." "It's fine," Ethan said, shaking his head. "You're a great friend, Ethan," Leo said, touched. "And it is my great fortune that my grandson has come to visit his grandpa," Ethan replied, patting Leo's head with a benevolent expression. "Hey, that was a cheap shot, Ethan. You fell for it voluntarily. What's that got to do with me?" The two began to bicker over their newfound family hierarchy. Zoe shook her head at Leo's childishness and turned to Lily. "So, Lily, why are you at Ethan's place?" "Because we're living together." "While what?" Zoe's mouth fell open. "LL living together." She stood on her tiptoes and whispered in Lily's ear, "A beautiful girl like you, living with a guy. Aren't you afraid Ethan will unleash his inner beast?" Lily muttered under her breath, "The beast might not be Ethan." "What did you say, Lily?" Zoe blinked curiously. "Ah, nothing." Lily changed the subject. "I made your favorite today, Zoe, potato and rib stew." "Ribs?" Zoe's eyes lit up as if a switch had been flipped, and a little drool formed at the corner of her mouth. "Zoe, you're drooling," Lily said, handing her a napkin from the table. "Hee, I'm just so hungry," Zoe said, wiping her mouth. She then pointed a mischievous finger at Lily's face. "Look who's talking, you little greedy cat. You still have milk on your lip from earlier." Lily froze for a second, then extended her tongue and licked the residue away. "You caught me." Zoe pouted. "Is there any more milk? I want some too." That was the last of it." "Sorry, Zoe. I'll make sure to have some for you next time." "Oh, okay then." Lily glanced at the two boys, still arguing, and pulled Zoe toward the kitchen. "Come on, let's ignore them. We'll go get dinner ready." "Okay." Zoe rolled up her sleeves, full of energy. As long as food was involved, she was always motivated. Huff, huff. After their fight, Leo and Ethan lay on the sofa, exhausted. Leo pulled a stack of worksheets from his backpack and placed them on the table. "Ethan, these are the practice sheets from the last few weeks. Make sure you review them. We're both getting into Northridge, you hear me?" "Don't worry," Ethan said, giving him a thumbs up. "You better work hard too, Leo." "Of course." I asked Zoe, and she said she'd help me study at the library on the weekends, Leo said with a proud grin. "By the way, Ethan, did you hear Isabella transferred?" "Transferred?" Ethan shook his head. "Didn't know, don't care. There's only room for Lily in my eyes. No one else." "Lily, your ribs are so good," Zoe said, happily sneaking a piece of food from the pot. "If you like them, Zoe, then eat more," Lily said, her voice warm and full of laughter. "Why are you so happy, Lily?" "Because." Lily's smile widened. "The one I love only has eyes for me." "Dinner's ready." As Zoe placed the last dish on the table, the feast began. "Whoa," Leo exclaimed, inhaling the fragrant aroma. "I never knew you were such a good cook, Lily. The smell alone is making my mouth water." "Ethan, you must be eating well these days." "I don't know about me," Ethan mumbled, but Lily's certainly had her fill. "What does that mean?" Zoe asked, her head tilted in curiosity, though she didn't stop chewing on a rib. Lily placed a meatball in Ethan's bowl. "Maybe I should let you have a taste next time, Ethan," she teased. Ethan immediately buried his face in his bowl and started shoveling food into his mouth like a refugee who hadn't eaten in days. Seeing Ethan eat so fast, Zoe couldn't stand it and joined the fray, furiously scooping rice in her mouth. "Hey, at least let me have one bite." Leo, who hadn't even picked up his chopsticks, saw the food disappearing and panicked, diving into the battle for dinner. As Ethan was eating, he felt a sudden pressure on his leg that almost made him spit out his food. Since Lily and Zoe were sitting on one side of the table, he and Leo were on the other. A soft, slender, jade-like foot had stretched across and was now rubbing against his calf. MMPH, cough, cough, cough. Ethan's body instinctively jumped, and the food in his mouth went down the wrong way, sending him into a coughing fit. Leo, a rib still in his mouth, looked at him. "Ethan, I know the food is good, but you don't have to be that excited about it." "Cough. Sorry, just got carried away," Ethan said, wiping his mouth with a napkin while shooting a glare at Lily. Lily stuck out her tongue playfully and retracted her foot. Zoe's chopsticks clattered against her bowl. When the last grain of rice was gone, she placed her bowl on the table, licked the grease from the corner of her lips, and asked, "Can I have another bowl of rice?" "Of course," Lily replied with a smile. She was very fond of friends like Zoe. First, Zoe already had a boyfriend, so she posed no threat. Second, Zoe was a complete and total foodie to an almost fanatical degree. And there was one other thing. Zoe had helped her on the bus that one time, and Lily was grateful. I'll get it. Leo suddenly stood up. I need a refill anyway. Give me your bowl, Zoe. Oh, thanks, Leo, Zoe said with a smile, handing him her bowl with both hands. Leo's hands trembled as he held it. He walked shakily into the kitchen, a faint, dopey smile on his face. Lily seized the opportunity, slipping off her shoe and using her smooth, pale leg to trace the line of Ethan's pants. It started at his ankle, slowly traveled up his calf, past his knee, up his thigh, and finally arrived at his final destination. Ethan had anticipated this sneak attack. He was prepared. Before Lily could react, he grabbed her foot with both hands and gave it a triumphant squeeze. So smooth, so soft, feels so good in my hand. Wait, does this make me a foot fetishist? Feeling the warmth of Ethan's hand, Lily let out a soft moan, but it was just loud enough for Zoe to hear. Lily, what's wrong? Zoe asked, looking at her curiously. It's nothing. I just... Ethan had started tickling the sole of her foot, all while feigning innocence. Lily, are you not feeling well? Looking at Ethan's triumphant expression, Lily fought back the ticklish sensation, gritting her teeth. I'm fine. I just need to rest a bit. By the way, Zoe, you should probably go check on the kitchen. Leo's been in there a while. He might be sneaking food. The moment Zoe heard this, she slammed her hands on the table and shot up. Oh, you're in for it now, Leo. Sneaking food behind my back. She rushed toward the kitchen. Seeing Zoe leave, Ethan knew he was about to face Lily's wrath. He immediately stood up to follow. Yeah, Leo, how could you sneak food behind our backs? Just as he was about to take a step, Lily grabbed his hand. It seems you were having a lot of fun just now, Ethan. You really didn't want to let go, did you? You started it. I was just acting in self-defense, Ethan said, striking a defensive karate pose. Self-defense, huh? Lily slowly backed him against the wall. She tilted her head up, her lips close to his ear, and whispered in a sultry tone. Well then, Lily is about to use excessive force. Before Ethan could react, she leaned in and kissed him. Lily, wait, someone's here. Every time he tried to speak, her tongue would cut him off. Slurp, slurp, slurp. Leo held Zoe's bowl in both hands, staring at it intently before swallowing a mouthful of saliva. This is Zoe's bowl. If I sneak a little kiss, wouldn't that be like an indirect kiss with Zoe? But isn't that kind of perverted? An image of Zoe's cute face floated in his mind. Whatever. Even if it makes me a pervert, I'm doing it. Zoe, my Zoe, he cooed, puckering his lips and slowly leaning toward the rim of her bowl. Leo, I caught you. So you were sneaking. Zoe's head suddenly popped through the kitchen doorway, a mischievous look on her face. But when she saw Leo, lips puckered, leaning toward her bowl, she froze. Leo, what are you doing? His body jolted. He slowly turned his head 90 degrees, his eyes blank as he stared at her. It's over. My love life officially ends right here, right now. Zoe, Leo tried to explain, but he couldn't form a single coherent thought. He gave up and just stared at the floor, his head hung low. Zoe didn't scream, pervert, and storm out like he expected. Instead, she slowly walked over to him, bent down to meet his gaze, and whispered, Do you like me, Leo? I do. I like you too, Leo. After she spoke, they were both silent for a moment. Sigh. Zoe let out a breath, then pursed her lips. You're such an idiot, Leo. She stood on her tiptoes until their heads came together as one. A short while later, the four of them were back at the table, just as before, but now everyone's face was flushed a deep red. Zoe hid her face behind her bowl and silently ate. Leo stared down at his lap, lost in thought, and Lily, under the table, continued her playful assault on Ethan. So, Lily, Ethan, when are you guys coming back to school? Zoe was the first to break the silence. Ethan didn't answer, instead looking to Lily. Although she wasn't completely isolating him from the outside world anymore, he still wanted to hear her thoughts. Lily closed her eyes, silent for a moment, as if contemplating the question. A few seconds later, she opened them and looked at Ethan. Ethan's injury is almost healed. He should be back at school in a few days. Zoe cheered. That's great. You're finally coming back. Leo, isn't that great? She nudged the silent boy next to her. So soft, so sweet, so fragrant, Leo murmured, his soul having already floated off to some unknown dimension. The nudge brought him crashing back to his body. Huh? Oh yeah, that's great. Ethan narrowed his eyes at Leo. What's up with him? He's been out of it ever since he came back from the kitchen. Did he really sneak food from the pot? Lily glanced at the clock on the wall and feigned surprise. Oh my, it's already 9 o'clock. Don't you two have class tomorrow? Zoe followed her gaze. Oh no, it's so late. I still have homework to do. She shot up from her chair, grabbing her backpack with one hand and Leo's shirt with the other, dragging him toward the door. Sorry, Lily, we have to go. They quickly gathered their things and left. It's no problem. Be careful on your way home, Lily called out, waving from the doorway. Ethan seized the opportunity, pulling on his jacket. I'll walk them out, he said as he moved toward the door. But the moment he stepped over the threshold, Lily's hand shot out and snagged the collar of his jacket, yanking him back inside. Seriously, where does she get this strength? Let's not disturb their special time together, Ethan, she said, closing the door. Lily leaned against it, her head tilted, just staring at him without a word. Something's wrong. Something is very, very wrong. Lily, you must be tired from cooking tonight. I'll go do the dishes, Ethan said, turning to clear the table, but she wrapped her arms around him from behind. He felt two intense pressures against his back and immediately stood ramrod straight. Lily, how am I supposed to clean up if you're holding me like this? Lily rested her head on his shoulder, opened her mouth, and gently bit his earlobe. Ethan, do you know what Leo and Zoe were doing in the kitchen? What? Weren't they just sneaking food? What else could they be doing? Oh, they were sneaking something. All right, Lily purred, circling around to face him. Her eyes were hazy as she stared at his slightly reddened lips. Let me show you how they were sneaking it. Zoe and Leo walked side by side down the street. A cold wind blew, making Zoe shiver. It's so cold. She hugged herself, trying to keep warm, then stole a glance at Leo. He lifted his head, then quickened his pace, walking ahead of her by himself. Zoe stomped her foot. Leo, you big dummy. She hurried to catch up. As she sped up, he sped up, and the two of them maintained a constant distance. After a while, Zoe suddenly stopped. Hearing her footsteps cease, Leo turned back and saw her standing there, pouting, with tears glistening in her eyes. He rushed back to her. Zoe, what's wrong? Are you not feeling well? She was silent for a moment, then asked, her voice trembling, Leo, do you hate me? Of course not. How could I ever hate a girl as cute as you? Then why are you avoiding me? Avoiding you? I'm not. Liar. She balled her fists and gently pounded on his chest. Why have you been deliberately avoiding me since we left? You won't even walk next to me. Oh, is that what this is about? Leo scratched his head. You said you were cold, so I ran ahead to block the wind for you. Zoe stared at him, stunned, then burst out laughing. What? So that's why? You're such an idiot, Leo. Hey, I'll have you know, I think using my superior mass to shield you from the wind is both effective and chivalrous. Then why didn't you just hug me? Is it too late to do that now? Too late, she said, pulling a face and sticking out her tongue before running ahead. Oh yeah? You think you can make fun of me? The two of them chased each other through the cold wind, their laughter and a love as hot as fire, keeping the chill at bay. Afterward, Lily was nestled in Ethan's arms, her eyes closed, savoring what had just happened. Ethan, one hand on his aching lower back, stared silently at the ceiling. Ethan, what is it? How did you know my birthday? Oh, that. The day I went to Mr. Davis's office, I saw your student file. The date was on it, so I memorized it. You're so thoughtful, Ethan. By the way, when is your birthday? She asked, peeking at him through her lashes. Me? Funny you should ask. I'm actually the same as. Ethan trailed off, a sudden realization dawning on him. Wait, you already gave me a birthday present, didn't you? So you already know my birthday. I know Ethan White's birthday, she said, her voice soft but her gaze turning sharp. But what about yours? It's over. She knows. Did she realize I'm not the real Ethan? If she finds out, is she going to kill me? Haha, Lily, what are you talking about? I am Ethan White. Her gaze grew even more intense. Then what were you about to say just now? Staring into Lily's piercing eyes, Ethan forced his expression to remain calm. I was going to say, funny thing is, you and I were born in the same year. Heh. Is that so? Well, Lily, I'm going to do the dishes now. You worked hard today. Ethan seized the excuse and escaped her gaze. Watching him leave, Lily fell into deep thought. Why? Why won't he tell me the truth? The look on his face. He was afraid of something. The tap ran, water splashing into the sink as Ethan absent-mindedly scrubbed a plate. Was she setting a trap for me? Or was it just an innocent question? If she finds out I'm not the real Ethan, she'll probably chain me up in a basement and torture me until I give him back to her. Ethan, if you don't turn off the water, the sink is going to overflow. Lily's voice, right by his ear, made him jump. The plate slipped from his hand. But there was no crash. He looked down and saw that Lily had already caught it. Sorry, I was spacing out. Go rest, Ethan. I'll do the dishes. Lily turned off the tap and gently pushed him out of the kitchen. He collapsed onto the bed, completely drained, his heart pounding with an anxiety that wouldn't fade. That evening, They fell asleep in each other's arms. Lily had a dream. In it, Ethan vanished. When she tried to find him, she discovered he had been completely erased from her world. No, she screamed, waking from a nightmare. Her hands clawed at the darkness, finding nothing. Wah, Ethan, where are you? An invisible hand squeezed her heart, and she began to sob uncontrollably, tears streaming down her face. The brilliant blue of her eyes began to bleed into a murky, bruised red, as if being consumed by a shadow. Just then, a pair of warm hands pulled her into a hug. I'm here, Lily. I'm always here. Woken by her cries, Ethan's heart had ached to see her so pitiful and afraid. He had embraced her without a second thought. Ethan, hearing his voice, was like finding a lifeline on a cliff's edge. She clutched his shirt, refusing to let go. Don't leave me, Ethan. Please don't. I won't. I'll never leave. They held each other tightly, a silent vow passing between them. Lily buried her head in his chest, her voice a frightened whisper, as if speaking to some unseen force. Ethan is all I have. He's all I want. Please, I'm begging you, don't take him away. Please. Lily. Ethan stroked her back, his heart a tangle of emotions as he gazed out at the endless night. You're all I have, too. The darkness shrouded the world, but in that room, two lights intertwined. They were two souls who never should have met, now bound together inextricably. This wasn't just one person's salvation. The next morning, Ethan blearily opened his eyes to a sight he would never forget. Lily was curled up like a wounded kitten, the tear tracks still visible on her cheeks. Even in her sleep, her small hands were clenched tightly around his shirt, as if afraid that the boy in her heart would be gone when she woke. Lily. He didn't move, not wanting to disturb her. He just watched her, his eyes filled with a profound warmth. A ray of sunlight streamed through the window, falling on her face. Her eyelids fluttered, and she slowly woke. The panic that usually filled her heart upon waking vanished the moment she saw him. He's still here. Ethan, good morn, MMPH. Before she could finish, Ethan's lips were on hers, as if he had been waiting for her to wake up. This kiss wasn't fierce or demanding like their others. It was gentle and delicate, like a flowing stream. Feeling the depth of his love, Lily closed her eyes and surrendered herself completely. Ethan's love, it's all mine. A shimmering thread of saliva marked the end of their tender moment. Ethan, I really love you, Ethan. Me too. She placed her hand on his face, stroking it gently. You are the greatest gift this world has ever given me. I used to wonder why I was even born. Abandoned, beaten. It felt like my very existence was a crime. But now I understand. She touched her chest. I was born into this world to wait for you to arrive. Lily, and I think it was all worth it. Tears welled in her eyes. It was really worth it. Ethan's own eyes turned red. He pulled her fiercely into his arms. We'll never be separated again. I'll be with you forever and ever, Lily. Forever. We're decades of suffering. If it meant I could have you, I would endure it for centuries. I would wait for as long as it took for the day you arrived. Lily rested her hand on Ethan's chest, a pained look on her face. Does your wound still hurt? It stopped hurting a long time ago. It's been kind of itchy lately, which probably means it's almost healed. I'm sorry I wasn't there for you that day. Silly girl. When I opened my eyes and saw it was you, I was already happy enough. You bad boy. You always know how to make my heart flutter. And do you like it? I love it. Her fingers traced the line of his throat. But you can only do this to me, Ethan, if there's even one other person. How could there be? Am I that kind of person? Stop thinking the worst of your comrade, Lily. Oh, I'm not worried about you changing your mind. She wrapped her arms around him like a sloth clinging to a tree and pressed her ear to his chest. I'm just worried about other people having their eyes on you. Thump, 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 thump. The sound of his frantic heartbeat filled her ears. I want to see Ethan's heart up close, she thought. It must be so beautiful. Wait, no. What am I even thinking? After a period of recovery, Ethan finally returned to school. Mr. Davis adjusted his glasses, looking over Ethan's medical leave slip. Are you feeling better now? The stitches are out. I think I'm all better. Don't take this lightly. No strenuous exercise for a while. I'll talk to the PE department about morning drills. Of course, I've been doing strenuous exercise almost every day, Ethan thought, but he'd never say that out loud. In your studies? Have you caught up on what you missed? Don't worry, Mr. Davis, Ethan said, patting his chest confidently. I guarantee you'll be satisfied. Mr. Davis nodded. It's not about satisfying me. It's about satisfying yourself. The exams are in 2 weeks. I hope you get a good score, find a good job, and don't let all your hard work go to waste. Mr. Davis, thank you. Don't get all sentimental on me. Get to class and take care of yourself. After Ethan left, Mr. Davis stood by the window, hands behind his back, looking at the distant clouds. Another 3 years. After class, Leo sidled up to Ethan's desk with a grin. Hey, Ethan, did you hear the school is holding a farewell party after exams? A farewell party? What's that? Shoo. Leo put a finger to his lips. Keep it down. Zoe's on the student council, and she secretly told me that on the night after the last exam, the school is holding a party in the auditorium. There are going to be a bunch of performances, but the school's keeping it quiet because they don't want to distract anyone. I'm risking my life telling you this. So, you sound like you're planning to perform. No way. What'd I do? Show everyone how to grill skewers. Then why do you care? Every class has to put on an act. Since our class president is gone, the vice president, who's also on the student council, decided to randomly draw a name from our class to perform. So what? It's not like it could be. Ethan's eyes widened in horror. It's me, isn't it? Leo just gave him a goofy, apologetic smile. Maybe you performing your grilling routine isn't such a bad idea. Hey, just accept your fate, man. There's nothing I can do. Ugh, what am I going to do? Ethan groaned, resting his head in his hands. Just then, a classmate tapped him on the shoulder. Ethan, someone's here to see you. Is it Lily? Ethan thanked the student and hurried out of the classroom. Standing there was a girl with short, dark hair and black frame glasses, holding a clipboard. She had the brisk, efficient air of a young professional. Are you Ethan White? Yes. And you are? I'm Megan Liu, class president of class 4 and vice president of the student council. I need you to look over this and sign it. She handed him the clipboard. The sheet was a list of performers. His name was right at the top. Just sign your name here and write down what you'll be performing. Megan leaned closer, pointing to the line. Right here. Ethan signed his name. As for the performance, he figured singing was the easiest option. Here's the schedule. Everything will run according to this timeline on the night of the event, so please be prepared. Got it. Megan nodded, took the clipboard, and left, her movements crisp and professional. She kind of has a girl boss vibe. Ethan muttered as he watched her go. A powerful, oppressive feeling washed over him from behind. He looked down the other end of the hallway and saw Lily, standing there, her face a blank mask as she stared at him. Oh no! He rushed over to her, but before he could explain, she cut him off. Lily, who was that? The class president from class 4. Why was she looking for you? She just needed my signature for the farewell party performance. Lily stared into his eyes, and seeing no hint of evasion, she relaxed. She stepped closer, pressing against him as if to erase any trace Megan had left. A performance? You're going to be in a show, Ethan? Huh? How did you know? And Lily, aren't you a little too close? He could feel her deliberately pressing her body against his. Zoe told me. I see. So Lily. Seeing him resist, Lily felt a pang of displeasure and simply looped her arm through his. Let's go, Ethan. Time for lunch. Okay, but Lily, isn't this a bit? Before he could finish, Mr. Davis appeared at the end of the hallway, walking toward them. Crap, it's Mr. Davis. He's going to catch me red-handed. Leo, who had been secretly watching, covered his mouth to stifle a laugh. Hee, you're so busted, Ethan. Mr. Davis is going to tear you a new one. Mr. Davis saw the two of them and picked up his pace. I'll just apologize now, Ethan thought. Maybe he'll be lenient. But as he was about to speak, Mr. Davis walked right past him without so much as a glance. Huh? What just happened? Leo's jaw hit the floor. Mr. Davis just let them go. Is that the same iron-fisted teacher I know? Has his body been snatched? Ethan faintly heard Mr. Davis mutter a single phrase as he passed. Just keep it reasonable. Was that him turning a blind eye? Seeing his chance, Ethan quickly pulled Lily away. Leo was still standing there, dumbfounded when Mr. Davis appeared in front of him. Well, Leo King, I just warned you not to be so conspicuous, and now not only do I know about your heroic deeds, but so does the homeroom teacher of Class 5. Leo's eyes widened. He stammered, unable to speak, and pointed a finger in the direction Ethan had gone. What's this? You're telling me to get lost? Is that how you treat your teacher? I want to see you in my office after lunch. Mr. Davis said, then walked into his classroom. Leo imagined himself kneeling in a vast, snowy field as flakes fell around him. Why? Why is my life so tragic? Zoe, I miss you. Achoo. Zoe sneezed, swinging her short legs from her seat. Where's that dummy Leo? And Lily, too, sneaking off like that.